Okay, friends. Yesterday we had a discussion about unrealized rent, if you remember. Okay, unrealized rent can be reduced while calculating your annual value. Okay, so it can be reduced from actual rent also. It can be reduced after calculating GAV also, right? So it is more logical to reduce it after calculating GAV, right? No, I gave you one example also yesterday with numbers. Okay, now pay attention. If you want to reduce unrealized rent, if you want to reduce while calculating your annual value, you need to fulfill 4 conditions. How many conditions? Which are given in rule 4. Which rule? Rule. How many conditions? 4 conditions. Okay. If you satisfy all these 4 conditions, only then you are allowed to reduce unrealized rent while calculating the GAV. Getting my point? Whether you want to reduce it from actual rent, whether you want to reduce after GAV, but you will be able to reduce only if 4 conditions are fulfilled. Number 1, tenancy must be bona fide. Tenancy must be bona fide. What does it mean, sir? Genuine. How can it be said that tenancy is genuine, bona fide? There has to be a rent agreement, registered rent agreement between the assessee and his tenant, which can prove that the tenancy is genuine tenancy. Okay? Hello, sir. Tenancy must be bona fide. Number 2, the tenant who has not paid you unrealized rent. Tenant who has not paid you unrealized rent, we call him defaulting tenant. What we will call him? From that defaulting tenant, you have to vacate your property. Tell him to vacate your property. If he has not vacated the property, all the legal steps you should take to compel him to vacate your property. Number 2, either the defaulting tenant has vacated your property or legal steps have been taken by you to compel him to vacate your property. Okay? Because, see, if he has not vacated your property, the defaulting tenant who has not paid you unrealized rent, if he has not vacated your property, what will happen? This year, he has defaulted in payment. Next year also, again, the same person is there. Next year also, again, he will default. And why the hell you want to give your property on rent again in the next year to the same person who is not giving you the rent? Getting my point? There might be something fishy, because there might not be actually unrealized rent. It might be you and him who would have collaborated and trying to fool us, yes or no? So hence the government is saying that if it is a genuine bad debt, genuine unrealized rent, and you are actually not happy with it, so tell your defaulting tenant to vacate the property. And if he has not yet vacated, at least take the legal steps to compel him to vacate your property. Getting my point? That is your second condition. Third condition is that the defaulting tenant is not occupying. Defaulting tenant is not occupying any other property of the assessee. Any other property of the assessee. Because what is the guarantee that he is going to pay rent for that property also? If he has defaulted in the payment of rent for this property, he will definitely default in payment of rent for the next property, other property also. So the same assessee to the same defaulting tenant, if other properties are given on rent, that is not going to help. Getting my point? If he has occupied the other properties, then we are not going to give you any deduction for unrealized rent. He should not be occupying the other properties belonging to the assessee. Yes or no? And last but not the least, assessee has taken all the legal steps for the recovery of unrealized rent. just screaming that, oh my God, he has not paid me the rent, unrealized rent will not help you. Tell us, have you taken any legal steps to recover your unrealized rent? Even after taking the even after taking the legal steps, the unrealized rent could not be recovered. Then only we are going to give you the deduction. Yes or no? But sometimes it is not possible to take legal actions. Sometimes it is not possible to take legal steps to recover the unrealized rent. How come, sir? That defaulting tenant has died. What legal steps should I take now? Even if I file a case, hello, is he going to come from upwards to pay the rent? No, na? So, legal steps sometimes you cannot take. So, in that case, satisfy your assessing officer that even if the legal steps are taken, they are not going to be fruitful. Even after taking the legal steps, I will not be able to recover the unrealized rent. Getting my point? Then only if he gets satisfied, this condition is considered to be fulfilled. Yes or no? So 4 conditions. See, they are not going to ask you these conditions. Okay, no? But these conditions will be mentioned in the question. Any of these conditions will be mentioned in the question. You should be careful that, okay, the defaulting tenant is occupying another property of the house property. And in that question, it is given that the tenant has defaulted and he has not paid you unrealized rent. So in that question, will you take any deduction for that unrealized rent? No. Why? Because the defaulting tenant who is not paying you unrealized rent is occupying another property belonging to the assessee. Getting my point? That is one of the conditions, that if you want to take the deduction for unrealized rent, the defaulting tenant should not occupy any other property. Likewise, this will be exploited in the question. Getting my point? So tell me, 4 conditions. Number 1. Please speak up. Come on. Tenancy must be bona fide. Number 2, defaulting tenant has vacated the property, or all the legal steps have been taken to compel him to vacate the property. Number 3, defaulting tenant is not occupying any other property of the assessee. Number 4, assessee has taken all the legal steps for the recovery of unrealized rent. If the legal steps for recovery are not taken, he has to satisfy the assessing officer that legal steps, why he has not taken the legal steps. Taking the legal steps will not be fruitful. Getting my point? If all these 4 conditions are fulfilled, see, it is that part of actual rent. What is unrealized rent? It is that part of actual rent which has become due but could not be recovered from the tenant. Due but could not be recovered means bad debt. Due but could not be recovered means, but we are not going to write bad debts, we are going to write unrealized rent. Okay. It is reduced from actual rent while computing the GAV. Alternatively, as per the treatment given in the ITRs. What do you mean by ITRs? Income tax returns. It can also be reduced from GAV. However, the amount of unrealized rent can be reduced only if all the conditions of Rule 4 as given below are fulfilled. And we have covered all these 4 conditions. Yes or no? Yesterday, I wrote one format. Yesterday I wrote one format. Do you remember that format? First one, compared with whichever is higher amount, compared with whichever is, that will become expected, and compared with, you will get out of that reduce unrealized rent, final amount of GAV you are going to get. This is your final GAV. Yes or no? So, have I explained what is municipal value? Yes or no? What is fair rent? I have discussed the standard rent also. What is expected rent? Actual rent, I told you yesterday. Actual rent is the rent for the period for which the property is actually let out during your ownership period. Yes or no? Now tell me, how much should be the ownership period? Usually full year. If nothing mentioned in the question, we will assume that the assessee is the owner of the property throughout the year. Yes or no? But specifically, sometimes in the question, they will test your knowledge. They will tell you, that assessee has acquired the property in this year. They will tell you that the assessee has acquired the property in this year, meaning that he is becoming the owner of the property for the first time during my previous year. Yes or no? So the date on which he is becoming the owner, from that date till 31st March. Not necessary that it will be a period of 12 months. It can be a period of less than 12 months. So the first year for the property, what did I say? First year of the property can be a period of less than 12 months. First year of the property can be a period of, and in that case, if the ownership is less than 12 months, what will you do? You will calculate the expected rent for ownership period. You will calculate the expected rent for ownership period. Expected rent for 12 months if ownership is 12 months. Hello, sir. Expected rent will be for 10 months if ownership is for 10 months. Getting my point? If ownership is only 4 months, calculate the expected rent for 4 months. Yes or no? And out of that ownership period only, the property can be let out. It can be let out throughout the ownership period, or it can be let out for less period also. And if it is let out for less period, tell me, there will be some vacancy. And if vacancy is there, how do we calculate GAV? What if there is no vacancy? Directly we will compare expected rent and actual rent. Directly we will compare expected rent and whichever is, that will become my GAV. Whichever is higher, that will become my GAV. But what if there is vacancy? I will have to now check, vacancy is there, still my actual rent is greater than or equal to expected rent. So what the assessing officer will think, what the department will think, see, my expected rent is this much, he is letting out the property for less period, still his actual rent is greater than or equal to my expected rent. Let him take the actual rent as GAV. Yes or no? Hello, sir. What if the actual rent is lower than expected rent? In this case, we have to check whether the reason is vacancy or something else. What if the reason is vacancy? Meaning that I have added the vacancy rent with actual rent. I have added the vacancy rent with, in this case, if the total amount, is greater than or equal to expected rent, in that case vacancy was the reason. In that case vacancy was the reason because of which actual rent was lower. Yes or no? So in that case, AR will be taken as GAV. Please don't take the total, the mistake which we committed yesterday. Do you remember? Please don't take the total as your GAV. Will you remember this? Hello, sir. Now, what if even after adding the vacancy rent, your total is still less than expected rent? Meaning, vacancy was not the reason for actual rent to be less than expected rent. Reason is something else. In that case, your actual rent we will not accept. We are not going to accept. What we will say? Expected rent will become GAV. Please be very careful in this calculation. Okay, no? Now, see, unrealized rent, and then after GAV, what we do? Come on, tell me. After GAV, what we'll do? Municipal taxes paid. Now we are going to discuss about this municipal tax paid. Okay. Once municipal tax is done, we'll discuss about standard deduction. Once the standard deduction is done, we'll discuss about interest on housing loan. Once this entire discussion is done, no, 3 points are to be discussed now. Municipal tax, standard deduction, and interest on housing loan. Once we discuss all these 3 points, no, we'll immediately start solving the question. Yes or no? Now please pay attention. Municipal tax. What did I say? Municipal tax. Okay. Property held as stock in trade. Okay. Can you see proviso to section 23(1), which says Municipal tax. Now tell me, what is municipal tax? Any tax by whatever name called. Any tax by whatever name called, charged by the local authority for your property. Any tax by whatever name called, charged by whom? The local authority for your property, that is known as municipal tax. The deduction from GAV will be available for this municipal tax only. Any tax of property, I said, or any tax for the property charged by local authority. Any tax for the property charged by, only that will be treated as municipal tax. And only that is allowed as a deduction. Getting my point? Only that is allowed as a deduction. Sometimes no, state government also charges different types of property taxes, like land revenue, like state property tax. Yes or no? Are you going to pay this tax on your property to local authority or state government? So this tax will become municipal tax or it will not become municipal tax. So you cannot take the deduction of those taxes which are charged by the state government. Only those taxes for your property which are charged by local authority will be treated as municipal tax. Yes or no? You can take the deduction only for municipal tax. Yes or no? Hello? So pay attention. Here now you can see note number 4. Taxes related to the property but levied by, charged by whom? Equal to municipal tax or not equal to municipal tax? Hence deduction for such taxes allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. Will you remember? Now what is municipal tax, sir? Sir, the municipal tax is any tax. What did I say? Relating to the house property which is levied by the is known as, what is local authority? Municipality. Municipality. Here BBMP. Yes or no? If you will go to Hyderabad, it will be Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. If you will go to Bombay, it will be Bombay Municipal Corporation. Yes or no? If you will go to any small town, there will be a Nagar Palika. Getting my point? So any tax, it is not necessary that the name of tax will be municipal tax only. It can be charged by any name. Can it be called as corporation tax? Yes. Can it be called as property tax? Yes. Can it be called as water benefit tax? Yes. Can it be called as sewerage tax? See, by different names, the local authority would charge a tax from you on your property. All those taxes by whatever name called will be treated as your municipal tax. Will you remember this? Hello? So, what are the examples? Corporation tax. Is it, will you call it municipal tax? Yes. Local tax, then house tax, property tax, water tax, sewerage tax and what not. There are many other names also. You have to make sure that whether this tax is charged by local authority, yes, it is a municipal tax, I'll take the deduction. But if it is charged by state government, then it is not treated as municipal tax, then no deduction will be allowed. Okay. Now see, the deduction for municipal taxes shall be from GAV. Shall be from only if they are actually paid during the previous year. Paid during the, and they are paid by the owner. Are you the owner of the property? Have you yourself paid the property tax? Have you yourself paid the municipal tax? Only then you are eligible to take the deduction. Somebody else will pay, you are not going to get any deduction because you are not bearing that tax, no? The burden comes on some other's pocket. The burden should come on your pocket. So tell me, assessee is the owner of the house property. Yes or no? So if the assessee is the owner of the house property, this owner, this assessee should only pay the municipal tax. Pay means what? Assessee has paid and later on recovered from tenant. Can it happen? You are my tenant. I'm telling you, see, I'm giving you my property on rent. Okay? I will pay the municipal tax, but along with rent, I will recover it from you. Tell me, am I paying the municipal tax? No, because the burden does not fall on my pocket. After paying, I'm recovering it from my tenant. No. So if the burden does not fall on my pocket, I am not going to get any deduction. It does not mean that it is paid by the owner. Getting my point? What if my tenant pays? What if my tenant pays and later on I reimburse him? The burden is falling on my pocket. See, full day I am here in the class. I am not able to go to the municipality to pay my municipal taxes. Right now, everything has become online. But what if the municipality is not taking online payments? So I will have to go to municipality to pay my municipal taxes, but I don't have time for the full day. So the due date is coming. I told my tenant, please go now, pay the municipal tax. Okay, I will later on reimburse. So my tenant, that poor fellow, went and he paid the municipal taxes. Whatever municipal taxes he paid, I reimbursed that amount to him. Is it paid by my tenant or it is paid by me only? Paid by me only. Because the burden falls on my pocket. Later on I have reimbursed. No. Hello sir. What if I am paying but not recovering from my tenant? Borne by me only. Will be allowed as a deduction. What if the tenant is paying and I am not reimbursing? Hello? My tenant is paying and I am not reimbursing him. Will it be allowed or it will not be allowed? So I am giving you 4 cases. Paid by me, paid by owner, not recovered from tenant. Then allowed or disallowed? Allowed, very good. Paid by the owner, but later on recovered from the tenant. Allowed or not allowed? Very good. Paid by tenant and not reimbursed by the owner. Not allowed. Yes or no? Paid by tenant, paid by and reimbursed by the owner. Allowed. Will you remember? Hello. So municipal taxes shall be deducted from GAV only if they are paid. Paid means borne by the owner. But they have to be paid. They have to be actually paid during the, meaning that the deduction is allowed on payment basis. Deduction is allowed on. So now tell me one thing. If this year, previous year 25-26, the municipal tax amount was 20,000. How much? Out of this 20,000, full 20,000 I have paid in this year. How much deduction will I get in this year? Full. Because entire municipal tax of this year is paid in this year. So it will be allowed in this year. How much was the municipal tax? How much I have paid in this year? 20,000. So how much will be allowed in this year? 20,000. Yes or no? What if the municipal tax was 20,000? I paid only 15,000 in this year and 5,000 is still payable. How much was the municipal tax? How much I paid? How much is payable? So how much will be allowed in this year? Only 15,000. The 5,000 which is still payable, 5,000 which is still, will be allowed in the year in which I actually pay, but not in this year. Even if it is the municipal tax for current year, will not be allowed as a deduction in current year. Because have you paid it? No. Whenever you will pay in that year, now you can claim it, but not in this year. Hello sir. Last year, no, what happened? Last year 15,000 municipal tax was there. How much? I did not pay 15,000 in the last year. That 15,000 of the last year I am paying in this year. Tell me. Any effect? No effect. Hello? Allowed, not allowed? Why? Because even if 15,000 was for last year, did I pay in the last year? So it was allowed or not allowed? In the last year it was not allowed, yes or no? Now in this year, I am paying that 15,000. Is it paid in this year? Will be allowed in this year. So no need to check that to which year the municipal tax relates. No need to check to which year municipal tax relates. Municipal tax can be of the last 3 years. Can be paid in this year? Yes, will be allowed in this year. Even if that municipal tax is not related to this year, still will be allowed in this year. Why? Because it is paid in this year. The year to which it relates, in that year it was not paid, so in that year it was not allowed. So the year in which it is actually paid, in that year only it will be allowed as a deduction. Will you remember this? Hello sir, very important. So you have to make sure that whatever municipal taxes you are paying, you have to pay between 1st April to 31st March. 1st April to of your previous year. Now during this period, whatever municipal tax you are paying, whether the municipal tax relates to this year or whether the municipal tax relates to any other year, have you paid it in this year? Yes, it will be allowed as a deduction in this year. That's it. Will you check to which year municipal tax relates? No. No need to check. So can I make one equation? Year of municipal tax is not relevant. Okay, no. Year of municipal tax is year of payment of municipal tax is the year of deduction for municipal tax. What did I say? Year of payment of municipal tax is equal to year of deduction of municipal tax. But it has to be paid by the owner. Will you remember this? Sure, sir. So it will be allowed only on payment basis. Now few examples we are going to take. Okay. Example number 1. This is your previous year. Previous year, your GAV is 3,50,000. Municipal value is 3 lakh. See, municipal taxes are charged by whom? Local authority, meaning municipality. Hello. So municipality will charge municipal tax on municipal value. Municipality will charge municipal tax on municipal value. Yes or no? So for this year, the municipal value was 3 lakhs. The municipal value was, and the municipal tax levied was 10%. So this 10% will be levied on the municipal value only, no? Hello? So how much will be the municipal tax? 30,000. So this 30,000 is the municipal tax levied for this year. This is the municipal tax for this year. Getting my point? Now tell me, out of this 30,000, 80% is paid. How much is paid? 24,000. Hello? And out of this 30,000, 20% is still outstanding, meaning 6,000 is outstanding. Now tell me, for this previous year, what was your municipal tax? Out of that, how much is still outstanding? Will it be allowed? Ignore that. The year in which you will actually pay, in that year, you will claim this 6,000, but not in this year. Even if this 6,000 is relating to this year, still cannot be claimed in this year. Why? Because not paid in this year. Got it? Now, how much is paid in this year? 24,000. How much is paid in this year? Out of this, half is paid by owner and half is paid by tenant. Paid means borne. So how much is borne by owner? How much is borne by tenant? See, even if this 12,000 is paid in this year, but is the owner paying it or tenant paying it? Two conditions are important. The municipal taxes must be paid during your previous year and it must be paid by the owner. So, municipal tax paid in this year, and out of this only 12,000 is paid by owner, only that amount will be allowed as a deduction in this year. The municipal tax which is outstanding will not be allowed as a deduction, and the municipal tax which is paid in this year, even if it is paid in this year but it was paid by the owner, will not be allowed as a deduction. So tell me, out of 30,000, this 6,000 is not allowed, 12,000 is not allowed, 18,000 is not allowed, meaning this 12,000 will only be allowed. So what was your GAV for this year? Out of this municipal tax deduction you want to take, how much municipal tax you will take? You will take entire 30,000 or you will take only 12,000? So what will become your NAV? 3,50,000 minus, so 3,38,000 will become your NAV. Hello sir, will you be able to do it? Easy or difficult? Everything, every amount will be given in your question. You just have to set that amount in your format. And remember these small things which I am telling you. Getting my point? Once you start solving the questions, now you will come to know how easy the questions are. Okay, within 5 minutes you are going to get the answer for each question. Understanding? Other than few questions which are little tricky, but almost all the questions are so easy that within 5 minutes you are going to get the answers. Trust me on that. Okay, are you understanding? Hello sir. Now next one. Next example we will take. Okay, no? Which previous year is this? Which previous year is this? This was your previous year. This is my previous year, 25. See, every year, no, the municipality levied municipal tax. Yes or no? So, for this year, the municipal tax was 4,000. For this year, the municipal tax was 5,000. And for my current year, the municipal tax is 7,000. Out of this, how much is paid by the owner? In 23-24, nothing was paid. In 23-24. So, tell me, in 23-24, what was my GAV? 2,50,000. What was my municipal tax? Did I pay that municipal tax in that year? So what was my NAV for that year? 2,50,000. Same. Yes or no? Now tell me, in the previous year 24-25, what was my GAV? What was my municipal tax? How much did I pay in that year? Nil. Hello. So what would have been my net annual value? 2,80,000. Same thing. Yes or no? Now tell me, this 4,000 plus this 5,000 plus this 7,000. How much is the total? That entire 16,000 I have paid in this year. Entire 16,000 I have paid in. So can you see this year I have paid the municipal tax for this year also? This year, the last 2 year municipal tax which was outstanding, which I did not claim as a deduction, I paid that also in this year. So tell me, how much deduction you are going to get? Entire 16,000. So what was your GAV? Out of that, will you take only 7,000 paid in this year or these two also? So total 16,000 you are going to take as a deduction. How much will be your NAV? Yes or no? Now let's take the same example, above example. Municipal tax of rupees for 26-27. 26-27 is not my previous year. Next previous year. Hello sir. So for the next previous year also, 10,000 municipal tax you have paid in advance in this year only. Possible? Hello? So now tell me, 4,000, 5,000 of earlier 2 years you paid in this year. 7,000 of this year you have paid in this year. So total 16,000 you have paid in this year. Now along with this, 10,000 which belongs to the next year, 10,000 which belongs to the is also paid in this year. So how much total municipal tax you have paid in this year? 16,000 plus total 26,000. Please don't see to which year your municipal tax relates. How much municipal tax is paid in this year? Entire 26,000 will be allowed. So what will be your NAV in that case? Come on, tell me. What will be your NAV? Even if that 10,000 which was relating to the next year paid in this year in advance, still it will be allowed as a deduction. Got it, sir? Next one. What is your previous year? GAV is property tax levied by amounting to 6,000. Water tax levied by amounting to rupees. Sewerage tax levied by amounting to rupees. Now all taxes paid by the to the extent of Now tell me, this is also 80% paid, this is also 80% paid, this is also 80% paid and paid by the owner only. Yes or no? So tell me one thing, will this be allowed? Will this be allowed? Will this be allowed? Will this be allowed fully or 80%? Will this be allowed fully or 80%? So 6,000 plus 2,000 will be 8,000. 80% of that 6,400. Yes or no? So you are able to take the deduction of 6,400 out of your GAV. Take the deduction for 6,400. How much NAV? Understood, no? Next one. Suppose in the above example, water tax is also levied by. So instead of state government, now who is levying? So this is also by local authority. This is also by local authority. This is also by local authority. Yes or no? So how much is the total now? Hello, how much is the total? Is this entire 11,000 is paid in this year or only 80%? So 80% of 11,000 will be. So instead of 6,400, now you will be getting the deduction for 8,800 and your NAV will be 2,91,200. Yes or no? Did you understand? Note number 1. Municipal taxes or will be allowed or will not be allowed? We have already seen, no? Note number 2. Municipal taxes paid, meaning borne by whom? Will be allowed or will not be allowed? Will not be allowed. See, if the municipal taxes are given as, always apply that percentage on what value? Because they are charged by municipality on the municipal value. They will be charged by municipality on municipal value. So always apply this percentage. Always apply this percentage on what value? Municipal. Only then you will get the municipal tax amount. Yes or no? That we have seen in the first example only. See, municipal value was how much? And municipal tax is levied at? So municipal tax given in percentage, no? So to calculate the amount, we'll apply this percentage on municipal value. Yes or no? Next one. Note number 4 I have already explained. Note number 5. Sometimes you don't pay your municipal taxes on time. So what happens? The municipality charges municipal tax penalty also. Definitely they are going to charge. Why? That from next time onwards, you pay your municipal taxes on time. Hello? So, for example, your municipal tax for this year was 10,000 and there was a due date to pay that municipal tax. That due date you have missed, and after a delay of 3-4 months, for example, after a delay of 3 months, you have paid that municipal tax. Don't you think that the municipality will not take 10,000? Municipality will take 10,000 plus penalty also for late payment. Getting my point? So penalty taken was 800. How much? So total payment made by you is 10,000 or 10,800. How much deduction you are going to take? 10,000 or 10,800? Meaning that the municipal tax penalty charged for delay in payment of municipal tax will not be allowed as deduction. Why not, sir? First one, it is not a tax. Second one, just imagine you start getting the deduction for municipal tax penalty also. Will you ever pay municipal taxes on time? What you will say? Municipality is, continuously reminding you that please, macha, pay your municipal tax. Please pay your municipal tax. I will pay. Please pay municipal tax. I will pay. See, if you make any delay in payment, no, we'll charge penalty. Charge, no, how much penalty will charge? 5,000 charge. Later on, we are going to get the deduction. Everyone will be this much careless. Will the municipality get its municipal taxes on time? Everyone will start doing, making the payment late. Yes or no? So, to avoid that thing to happen, the government says, central government says, that while calculating your house property income, we are going to allow only the municipal taxes paid in this year. Any municipal tax penalty you have paid in this year, no, we are not going to allow you while calculating your house property income. Getting my point? If you commit delay, hello, and the penalty is charged, that penalty we are not going to allow. Will you claim it as a deduction? What will you do? Ignore. What will you do? Next one. Municipal tax in respect of whose annual value is claimed as will be allowed or will not be allowed. Only the municipal tax of LOP, only the municipal tax of DLOP will be allowed as a deduction. Any municipal tax relating to your SOP for which you are claiming exemption for annual value, two SOPs, annual value can be exempt. For these two SOPs also, the municipality would have charged municipal taxes and you would have paid the municipal taxes. Will you claim the deduction for those municipal taxes? Even if you will claim, will not allow. Because we allow the municipal tax only for those properties for which annual value is shown taxable. Annual value is shown. Out of the taxable annual value, claim the municipal tax deduction. Yes or no? Will you remember? Even if actually paid during the previous year by the owner, still it will not be allowed because it relates to SOP. Understanding? Now the last note, municipal tax in respect of a property situated outside India. What I'll do now? I will do this note a little bit later, when I'll be talking about properties which are situated outside India. Okay, that time I will show you this note also. Okay, as of now, did you understand everything about municipal tax? Please don't commit mistake, and small points where you commit mistakes, no, all those points I have given in the form of notes. Yes or no? Okay, now see, go to this table. We are here, municipal taxes paid. After municipal taxes are paid, what will be the final amount? So my first question, NAV can be a positive amount, NAV can be nil, can your NAV become nil? Can your NAV become negative? See, NAV will be positive, no? Hello, after from GAV, if you will take municipal tax deduction, NAV will be positive. Some positive amount will remain. But my question is, can your NAV become nil or negative? Think and say. Don't jump on the answers. In case of, okay, that is good. Very good. But what about LOP, DLOP? LOP, DLOP, this amount will be positive amount. Out of that municipal tax you are going to take as a deduction. After claiming municipal tax, will your NAV be nil or negative? Think and give me the answer. Come on. Kamlesh, tell me. Yes, why not? If for example, gross annual value was 1 lakh. How much? Just an example, okay, no? And municipal tax for last 10 years you have not paid. All the 10 years municipal tax amounting to rupees 10,000 example, 1 lakh rupees you have paid in this year. So from 1 lakh you will get the deduction of entire municipal tax you will get as a deduction in this year. So 1 lakh minus how much? Can it be nil? Yes. What if the GAV was only 1 lakh and the municipal tax paid by you in this year is 1,25,000? It can be negative also. Hello? So can your NAV be nil or negative also? The answer is yes. Getting my point? See, this is written here. NAV can be positive. Hello? It will come positive only in the case of LOP, and you will never get positive NAV in the case of, why? Because its GAV is nil and municipal tax deduction is not allowed. So NAV of self-occupied property, NAV of can never be positive amount. Hello? It will always be nil. Nil, nil. NAV of self-occupied. Understand, no? Remember that pro forma. Remember that format. GAV of self-occupied property will be nil. Yes or no? Municipal tax, even if paid by the owner during the previous year, will it be allowed or it will not be allowed? So it will be taken as nil. Nil minus nil on your calculator do. Will you get negative amount or you will still get nil? Hello. So for SOPs, no, the NAV can never be a positive amount. It will always be nil. Yes or no? But it can never be negative also. It can never be negative also. Why I am saying that? Why I am saying that? Because from from GAV, you are not going to get any municipal tax deduction. So it cannot be negative also. Getting my point? So tell me one thing. For LOP, okay, wait, here no, I will do this thing for please in your notes now which I have sent, okay, update this thing, update this thing. It can be nil in the case of LOP, DLOP, SOP, all. Yes or no? But it can be negative in the case of LOP and DLOP only, but not in the case of SOP. Done, sir? Okay, see, wait now, pay attention. GAV minus municipal tax. In case of LOP, DLOP, in case of LOP, DLOP, in case of, it can be positive also, it can be nil also, it can be negative also. Done, sir? But what in the case of SOP? It will always be nil. It will always be. Getting my point? Now, after you have calculated your NAV. From this NAV, what you get? From this NAV, what you get? Two deductions. First one, 24 clause A. And second one, 24 clause B. 24A talks about standard deduction at the rate of 30% of what? So whatever NAV you have calculated, whatever NAV you have, 30% of that you can take as standard deduction. But remember, standard deduction will be allowed only if your NAV is positive. Standard deduction will be allowed only if your NAV is positive. What if your NAV is nil or negative? No standard deduction. No. Getting my point? Now, why this standard deduction? Why this Colavarity? Tell me. There should be some reason to give you the standard deduction. No. Why they are giving you standard deduction? They are saying that, see, for this property, you might have incurred many expenses like repair maintenance, rent collection charges, yes or no? Some ground rent, etc. you must have paid. Ground rent of the land on which you have constructed the property. So you might be paying the ground rent also, some expenses on repairs and maintenance, etc. Rent collection charges also you would have paid. You might have taken the insurance of the property, so you might be paying the insurance premium also. So there are n number of expenses which are related to your property which you might incur. Yes or no? Now, if we allow you to claim those expenses as what? Deduction. If we allow you to claim those expenses as deduction, what will happen, sir? You will claim those expenses as deduction. Then in that case, we'll also have to check, no, whether the expenses claimed by you as a deduction are genuinely claimed or not. Hello? Repair and maintenance, you are claiming 1 lakh rupees, repair and maintenance. So you are claiming 1 lakh rupees as a deduction out of your income. Then we'll also have to check that whether 1 lakh claimed by you is correct or not. You are not taking more deduction, na? Yes or no? So we will have to check. So in that case, our time will be wasted. And even you will be feeling that what, yeah, government is not, having trust on me. They are asking for so many details from me. Repair maintenance expense 1 lakh I have incurred, so I am claiming 1 lakh only. They are asking for give us the bills, give us the evidences and all. See, even your time will be lost, and even the time for the government will be lost to check whether the deduction for expenses which you are claiming are correct or not. So please save your time, energy and efforts, and we'll do the same thing. Do one thing, forget all the expenses. Forget. Take a flat deduction of 30%. That is sufficient to cover all the expenses which you might have incurred for your property. Yes or no? Don't claim the expenses of your property separately. To cover those expenses, we are going to give you 30% standard deduction. Now somebody will say, sir, my expenses are more, still you are going to get 30%. Because we are not going to allow you any deduction for expenses which you might incur for the property. Because what will happen, even if your expenses are less, we are going to allow you this flat deduction of 30%. That time you are very happily claiming 30%. No. Even if no expense is also incurred on your property, still we are giving you 30%. See, if your expenses are less or you are not incurring any expense, still we are giving you 30%. Yes or no? So even if now your expenses are more, no, be satisfied with this 30%. This is a flat amount of deduction which we can give from our side. Hello, sir. This will take care of all the expenses. So whenever you will see any expense related to your property, like repairs is there, rent collection charges is there, ground rent is there, insurance premium is there. Okay. Any expense if you will see for house property, what you will do? Ignore, 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 ignore. All the expenses will be ignored. Why? Because to take care of these expenses, only the 30% standard deduction is allowed. Hello, sir. But don't ignore municipal tax. That is allowed separately from your GAV. Don't ignore the interest on housing loan, because that is also allowed separately. Other than these two things, other than municipal tax, other than interest on housing loan, other than municipal tax and other than interest on housing loan, all the expenses ignore, because they are going to get covered by 30% standard deduction. Will you remember? 30% standard deduction will be available from 30% standard deduction will be available from NAV. For that, NAV must be. If NAV is nil or negative, standard deduction will be available or will not be available. Done. Standard deduction over. Please. Allowed to all the assessees to cover up the, if any, expenses, if any, incurred on the property. This is a flat or fixed amount. This is a flat or fixed. Hence it is known as standard. Standard means flat. Standard means fixed. Yes or no? This is a flat or fixed amount of deduction available on notional means imaginary basis. Yes or no? Irrespective of the incurred on the no other expenditure shall be as a, while computing the income under the head. Therefore, expenses like insurance premium, rent collection charges, ground rent, annual charges, society maintenance charges, blah, 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 whatever expenses, what you will do? Ignore. All such expenses will be ignored. Yes or no? Now the standard deduction will be available only if the NAV is negative or nil. The standard deduction will not be available. Got it, sir? 24A done. Now here comes another pain point. First pain point was in this chapter. I will always tell you that student face difficulty in this area. 15 years experience. Hello. Because I have seen I have taught for so many years. So I know in which area in this particular chapter student face difficulty. So first place where the student face difficulty is actual rent and in GAV calculation. That I have already told you. So whenever revising this chapter, be careful about that. Revise that thing properly. Yes or no? And the second area where the students get difficulty is interest on housing loan. Although it is easy, but still they face some or the other difficulty. I don't know why. You all will also face, or you will not face. I am there. Don't worry. Okay. See, interest on housing loan will be allowed as a deduction from your NAV. NAV is there, no? So from that NAV, claim interest on housing loan as a deduction. Sir, what is a housing loan? See, I have borrowed 10 lakh rupees from the bank for my daughter's marriage. It is my housing loan, no? I have borrowed 50 lakh rupees from the bank to buy shares. It is my housing loan, no? I have taken 20 lakh rupees from the bank to buy a machinery for my business. It is a housing loan, no? So what is a housing loan? The capital which you borrow for the purpose of your house property. What did I say? The capital which you borrow for the purpose of house property. What purpose? Repair of the house property, renewal of the house property, purchase of your house property, construction of your house property, reconstruction of your house property. Meaning that when the money will be borrowed, that money will be used for the purpose of property. Getting my point? When the money will be borrowed, that borrowed money will be used for the purpose of house property. What purpose? It can be for what purpose? It can be for the purpose of purchase of the property. It can be used for the purpose of construction of the property, reconstruction of the property, repairs of the property, renewal of the property, meaning your money is spent on the property. Hello. So the money which you have borrowed, which is spent on the property, that borrowed money, that capital which you have borrowed will be known as housing loan. Will be known as, will you remember this? Hello. So will you get any deduction for housing loan? Yes or no? No. Housing loan you take, and on that housing loan, interest will be there, no? You are going to get the deduction of that interest. You are going to get the deduction for that. But tell me, are you going to pay only the interest, or you are going to return the capital borrowed? Meaning principal repayment also you will do, no? What will you do about that principal repayment? Will you get the deduction for that principal repayment under the head house property? Under the head house property, specifically they are saying that whatever housing loan you have taken, any interest on that housing loan only we are going to allow as a deduction. Yes or no? But what if when you return that housing loan amount you have taken, now that loan, now that principal amount you are repaying, for that repayment of the principal amount, you are not going to get this deduction. But subject to certain conditions. What did I say? Subject to certain conditions, repayment of housing loan will be allowed as a deduction from your GTI under section 80C. GTI means gross total income. What will you call? Gross total income. You know how to calculate gross total income? No, I have not explained. You will calculate income under 5 heads, add them, clubbing, set off, then there will be a total, that is First lecture, macha. First lecture. When are you going to appear for your exams? May, no? How will you be able to remember all these things? I still wonder. Okay, no problem. So, tell me, GTI means? Full form is gross total income, GTI. How will you calculate it? First, you will calculate salary. We'll learn in the next chapter. Second, you are calculating. We are learning right now. So, while calculating house property head, you are going to take the deduction only for interest. Hello? But the housing loan principal repayment will be made, no? Will not be allowed under the head house property. Subject to certain condition. When you will calculate all the 5 heads, you will get a total GTI. From this gross total income, you get chapter 6A deductions starting from ATC to. While taking those chapter 6A deduction under section ATC from your GTI under section, you can take the deduction for that principal repayment. Right now, not. Getting my point? Later on, we may allow, but it will be allowed based on certain condition, fulfillment of certain conditions. Will you remember this? Hello, sir. So tell me, interest will be allowed as a deduction. Now, tell me one thing. Okay. Note 1. If principal amount of housing loan is repaid during the deduction under section 24B under the head house property, for this principal repayment will be allowed or will not be allowed? So this principal amount can be claimed as a deduction from GTI under section, subject to certain. This is what I have explained right now. So under the head house property, salary, house property, PGBP, capital gain, other sources. Salary, house property, PGBP, capital gain, other sources. Salary, house property, PGBP, capital gains, other sources. We are in the house property head. We are inside the head. So under the head house property, what deduction you are going to get? Loan which you have borrowed for the purpose of house property. On that loan, whatever interest you are going to pay. Yes or no? No. Whatever interest which becomes due in this year. Whatever which becomes due in this year will be allowed in this year only. Meaning that the deduction for interest on housing loan is not on payment basis. It is on. Now you will feel, sir, municipal tax on what basis? Interest on. They should keep everything same, no sir? Why are they making things complicated for us? Why they are making things complicated for you? Tell me. Even they don't like it. But just imagine if the municipal tax is allowed on due basis. Just imagine, no? Apply some logic, apply your mind. Municipal tax of this year will be allowed in this year. If they would have told you. Okay. Even if you have not paid, no? Hello? Even if you have not paid, no? Municipal tax of this year we will allow in this year. Nobody will ever pay the municipal tax. Municipal tax is what? Statutory due. Any statutory due, the government wants you to make the payment on time. And government wants you to actually pay those amounts. Just imagine if the municipal taxes were allowed on due basis, this year municipal tax will be allowed in this year. Then nobody would ever bother paying the municipal taxes. Getting my point? So this year municipal tax becoming due 20,000, even if you have not paid, will be allowed in this year. Next year municipal tax 25,000 becoming due. Have you paid? No, still allowed as a deduction. Tell me when you will pay them and how to take that municipal taxes from you now. So to take that municipal tax from you, there should be some control over you. Getting my point? If you don't pay it now, will not allow you as a deduction. That way, you will be forced to pay that. Getting my point? Hello? So sir, for interest also they should have been doing that, no? Interest is not a statutory payment. Interest you don't go and pay to the government. Hello? Do you go and pay the interest to the government? Or you will pay the interest to the lender from whom you have taken the loan? Lender will be private parties or banks. Hello? So whether you pay them or not, if you prove it that you have taken a loan, hello, and on that loan for this year this interest is due, we are going to allow on what basis? Due basis. Why? Because income under this head we charge on due basis. Do you remember what income is charged? Actual rent. What is the income which is charged under this head? Actual rent, no. Actual rent will go to calculate your annual value. So whenever you will calculate your annual value, in the calculation of annual value, what income you take? Actual rent you are taking. Actual rent is the rent for the period during this year. Whatever period you have let out the property, for that entire period, whatever rent, whether it is received or receivable, the rent which becomes due for this period is taxable in this year. So if the income under this head is taxed on what basis? Due basis. So the expenses should also be allowed on due basis. Hence the interest is allowed on due basis. But that due basis cannot be applied on municipal taxes because the government wants to force you to make that payment. Hence that is not allowed on due basis. That is allowed on payment basis. Will you remember this? So actual rent is the income under this head. Hello? And interest is the expense. What is the income? What is the income? And what is the expense? Interest on housing loan. If this income is getting taxed on what basis? Due basis. So my dear friend, this expense should also be allowed on due basis only, no? Sir, then municipal tax cannot be allowed on due basis. Otherwise, it will not be paid by anyone. It will remain due only forever. Hello? So hence, municipal tax is not allowed on due basis. It is allowed on payment basis. Will you remember this? Go and ask this question to any of your friends. That under the head house property, why municipal taxes are allowed on payment basis and why interest is allowed on due basis. What they will say, you know? Because they will not be knowing that logic, no? Now if anyone asks you or even a question comes in your mind, you have the answer, no? Hello? Tell me, interest will be allowed on what basis? Meaning, whatever interest on housing loan which becomes due in my previous year, which becomes whether paid or payable, will be allowed in my previous year only. Hello? Because whatever rent of my property which becomes due in the let out period, whether received or receivable, is taxable in this year. Hello? So whatever interest on my housing loan which becomes due in my previous year will be allowed as a deduction in my previous year only, whether I have actually paid that interest or not. Will you remember this? Hello, sir. So for example, the loan outstanding, housing loan outstanding for the previous year 25-26. The housing loan outstanding was 10 lakh rupees. How much? Throughout the previous year, assuming that no repayment is made. Okay, no? So throughout the previous year, how much housing loan is outstanding? 10 lakh. On that 10 lakh, if the rate of interest is 9%, tell me, 90,000 Can I say this 90,000? This 90,000 is the interest which is due for 25, 26. Hello? Now this 90,000, even if you pay in this year or it is payable, entire 90,000 will be allowed as a deduction. Why? Because it is due for this year, will be allowed as a deduction in this year. So one equation I want to make, just like I made it for municipal tax. What equation I made for municipal tax? Year of payment of municipal tax is equal to year of deduction of municipal tax. Yes or no? Will you see to what year municipal tax relates? No. If it is paid in this year, it will be allowed in this year. Yes or no? Likewise, I will make one equation for interest. Year of interest. What did I say? Is the year of deduction. Is the year of interest is equal to year of deduction. Year of interest is 25, 26. Entire interest will be allowed in 25, 26. How much was the interest for us? Out of this now, 70,000 is actually paid in this year, and 20,000 is still outstanding or payable. Tell me, how much is paid in this year? How much is still payable? But how much is the interest for this year? This 90,000 will be allowed as a deduction in this year. Meaning the 70 for this year, paid in this year, will be allowed as a deduction in this year. 20 for this year, hello, even if not paid, will be allowed as a deduction in this year. Will you remember this? Now tell me, last year, 35,000 interest of last year, I did not pay. It was outstanding. That 35,000 rupees of interest I am paying in this year. Will I get the deduction for that 35,000? Why? Because already I would have claimed the deduction for that 35,000 on due basis in the last year only. Getting my point? And now again on payment basis, I cannot take the deduction for that interest because that was already allowed in the last year. On what basis? Due basis. Done, sir? How much was outstanding for this year? 20,000. How much was outstanding for this year? That 20,000 if I pay in the next year. 20,000 if I pay in the, tell me, will I get the deduction for that 20,000 next year? Why? Because that 20,000 was relating to this year. On due basis, I have already claimed the deduction in this year. So again, when I will make the payment at that time, again on payment basis, it will not be allowed because it is already claimed as a deduction in this year. Will you remember? Hello, sir. So pay attention. See, housing loan. Did you understand the meaning of housing loan? Did you understand the meaning of housing loan? Participate. Talk with me. What is housing loan? Any capital borrowed for the purpose of what purposes? Purchase, construction, repair, renovation, reconstruction, etc. Now for these purposes, if you have taken a loan, that loan is housing loan. On this housing loan, interest, whatever interest which becomes due in my previous year will be allowed as a deduction in my previous year. Under section. So if the interest due in the relevant previous year on housing loan, whether that interest is paid during the year or remains outstanding during the previous year, it will be allowed as a deduction under section 24B in that same previous year fully without any monetary limit if the property is LOPR. While showing the calculation of that format only, I have told you that if the interest relates to your let out property or deemed to be let out property. What was the status of the property? LOP, DLOP. What was the status of the property? Oh, for this property you have taken the loan. Okay. Interest on loan taken for LOP, DLOP. How much interest becoming due in this year? 1 lakh, fully allowed. 2 lakhs, fully allowed. 5 lakhs, fully allowed. There is no monetary restriction. There is no monetary restriction or monetary limit on the amount of interest to be claimed for LOP or DLOP. Will you remember this? Hello? But there is a limit. There is a on the interest on housing loan which you have taken for a property which is SOP. Can you have SOP in this year? This year, can you have an SOP? For that SOP, you have taken a housing loan. For that SOP, you have taken a... Now calculate the interest on that housing loan which becomes due for this year. That entire interest will be allowed in this year subject to maximum limit of 2 lakhs or 30,000. Subject to a limit of 2 lakhs or... First of all, listen to me very carefully. What is your previous year? In your previous year, what is the status of the property? So, in your previous year, the status of the property is SOP. For this SOP, for this, you have taken a housing loan. You have taken a... On that housing loan, how much interest becomes due for this year? That you have to calculate. Getting my point? So, for the previous year 25-26, how much interest becoming due on the housing loan which you have taken for this SOP? That entire interest which becomes due in this year will be allowed as a deduction in this year only, but will be subject to a maximum limit of 2 lakhs. What if the interest becoming due is 1,40,000? Fully allowed. Because limit is how much? 2 lakh. Up to 2 lakh. Full amount of interest due, I can claim. Hello? What if the amount of interest which becomes due in this year is 2,40,000? Will you be able to claim entire 2,40,000? Or only 2 lakhs? Only 2 lakhs. The extra 40,000 which becomes due cannot be claimed because it is for SOP, and for SOP maximum limit is 2 lakhs. Getting my point? Sometimes this limit is 30,000 also, yes or no? And sometimes this limit is 2 lakh also. When will you take 30,000 limit for SOP? When will you take 2 lakh limit for SOP? That I am going to tell you. Hello sir. But wait. Now see. This is my previous year. Previous year 25. Okay. In this previous year, I have a house property. I will check what is the status of this property. For this year, if the property is let out, then what is the status of this property? This year the property is yes or no? What if this year I already have 2 SOPs for which I am claiming the exemption, and this is my third SOP? Then other 2 SOPs exemption is claimed, this property will become DLOP. So for example, this year the status which I am giving to this property is LOP or DLOP. Okay, no? Now for this LOP, DLOP, for this property I have taken a housing loan. Now you have to see starting from 1st April till 31st March, the housing loan which is outstanding. The housing loan which is outstanding in this year. On that housing loan only I am going to pay the interest. No. I took the housing loan of 50 lakhs 10 years back. How much loan I took? Will that entire 50 lakhs be outstanding in this year? Or I might have repaid some principal. So I have paid the principal amount every year, and out of that total 50 lakhs of housing loan which I would have taken for this property, only 10 lakh is outstanding in this year. How much is outstanding? So can I say the housing loan which is outstanding for this year is how much? 10 lakhs. On that, the rate of interest was 9%. How much? 9%. So tell me, 10 lakh rupees outstanding in the month of April, 10 lakh rupees outstanding in the month of May, 10 lakh rupees outstanding in the month of June, meaning that every month I will have to pay the interest on 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh because I have not repaid any housing loan in this year. Getting my point? So starting from 1st April till 31st March, how much housing loan is outstanding throughout the year? 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh. Every month I am paying interest on 10 lakh. No. So 10 lakh into 9% into 1 by 12 will be interest for April. 10 lakh into 9% into 1 by 12 will be the interest for May. 10 lakh into 9% into 1 by 12 will be interest for June. Instead of doing the same calculation 12 times, calculate the interest for the entire year once. No. So 10 lakh into 9% into 12 by 12. Hello. So how much will be the interest? 90,000. Somebody would not understand the simple calculations, you'll have to go to the basics, school. Okay, go back to school. What is the housing loan outstanding in April? Have you repaid any housing loan? No. So in April, how much interest you will pay? 9% on 10 lakhs. So 9% on 10 lakhs is how much? 90 into 1 by 12. Into 1 by 12. That is the interest for April. Have you repaid any interest? Have you repaid any principal in May? So how much is the loan outstanding in May? 10 lakhs. So on that 10 lakh, 9% you will pay for May also. So 10 lakh into 9% into 1 by 12. Again 7,500. Wow. June. Have you repaid any principal? No. So in the month of June also, how much loan is outstanding? 10 lakh. On that you will pay 9% for June month also into 1 by 12. You are calculating each month. No. So you are doing 1 by 12, 1 by 12. Because that 9% is not monthly rate of interest. That is per annum rate. Getting my point? So every month 7,500 you are calculating. 7,500 you are calculating. 7. Mad or what? Calculate for the full year now. Into 12 by 12. Instead of 1 by 12, do it 12 by 12. Getting my point? 12 by 12 is nothing but 1. And if that 1, if I multiply that also, I'll get 90,000. Getting my point? That's why I don't write that. Now, tell me, is this 90,000? Is this becoming due from April to March? Is this the interest which becomes due for this year? So, this is the interest on housing loan due for previous year 25, 26. Now tell me, what was the status of the property? For this property only the housing loan was taken, no? And on this housing loan, how much interest becoming due? Fully allowed. No monetary limit. What did I say? No monetary limit. Fully allowed. Will you remember this? Hello? Now tell me. What if the status of this property this year was SOP? What if the status of this property this year is? So housing loan was 10 lakh. Instead of 10 lakh, let us take 20 lakhs. Let us take 20 lakh. 9% of that will be 1 lakh. So can I say this 1,80,000 is the interest on housing loan which becomes due for the previous year? How much is the interest? How much is the interest? Is this interest relating to this SOP? Will be allowed fully or subject to limit? Subject to limit. So what is the limit? For SOP, interest limit is 2 lakhs. You have to check that the interest which you are going to claim in this year should not be more than 2 lakhs. Is it more than 2 lakhs? Will be fully allowed. But what if here the loan was 30 lakhs? 9% of that will be 2 lakh. So can I say that this 2,70,000 is the interest on housing loan due for previous year 25? This interest is for this SOP only, no? Will be allowed subject to a maximum limit of. So how much interest will be allowed? Only 2 lakhs. Forget about 70,000. Will you remember this? Hello, sir. You want to take this limit of 2 lakhs? Hello? Sometimes instead of 2 lakh, the limit will be 30,000 also. Limit will be. But sir, when do I take this limit of 2 lakhs? 3 conditions I am telling. How many conditions? If the housing loan has satisfied all the 3 conditions, then only you can take the maximum limit of 2 lakhs. In every other case, the limit will be 30,000. Getting my point? First condition. The loan must be taken. Loan must be taken on or after 1st April 1999. That time you are not born also. Yes or no? Hello? Amendment came in this section in 99. Finance Act 99. Right now we are studying which Finance Act? So this 2 lakh limit has been brought since then. Earlier it was 1 lakh 50. Now then later on it was increased and it is now 2 lakhs. Getting my point what I am trying to tell you? So the loan must be taken on or after? On or after? For example, you have taken a loan in 2021. When did you take the loan? Meaning you have taken the loan on or after 1499 only, no? Hello, what if you have taken a loan in 1718? 1718, meaning you have taken a loan on or after 1499 only, no? Hello, what if you have taken a loan in 2526, this year only? Meaning you have taken on or after 1499 only, no? Majority of the loan, no, will be taken on or after 1499. Recent loans only. Getting my point? It is very rare that they are going to ask you very old loan prior to 1st April 99. Getting my point? But wait, you have to take the loan. Housing loan. When will you take the loan? Anytime, but on or after 1st April 99 you are supposed to take the loan. Getting my point? Now the loan must be taken for purchase, construction, repair, renewal, reconstruction, etc. No. Only for. So 2 lakh interest, limit of 2 lakh on interest will be available on housing loans which are taken for purchase or construction only. Any other housing loan is there? No. The housing loan which was taken for repairs, the housing loan which was taken for renewals, for those loans the limit of 2 lakh cannot come because the loan amount will also be lower. Hello sir. And the interest will also be lower. 2 lakh limit will not be required there. Getting my point? There 30,000 limit will be enough. Purchase loan will be a higher amount. Construction loan will be a higher amount. On that, the interest will also be higher. So there the higher limit would be required. So there 30,000 will not be sufficient. There you have to take 2 lakhs. Getting my point? Can I say repair loan is also housing loan? Repair loan is also how much interest maximum can be claimed? 30. How much? Reconstruction, renewal, etc. 30,000. But purchase or construction. So the housing loan must be taken on or after 1st April 99 for the purpose of purchase or construction of your house property. And the purchase or construction must be completed. Purchase or construction must be completed within 5 years from date of taking the loan? No, sir. Don't see on what date the loan was taken. Within 5 years from the end of, within 5 years from the end of the previous year in which such loan was taken. Will you check 5 years from date of borrowing? No. Check when the loan was taken. In which previous year the loan was taken. For example, loan is taken on 9th of June 2019. 9th June 2000. So that is the date of borrowing. You are not supposed to count 5 years from that date. Check. 9th June 2019 comes in which previous year? 1920. Hello? 9th June 2019 comes in which previous year? So the year is 1920. It is the year in which the loan was taken. It is the year in which the loan was taken. 5 years from the end of this year. 5 years from the end of the year in which the loan was taken. So, if I say that year of taking the loan was 1920, 6th June 2019. Did I take the loan? This is the date of birth, no, date of borrowing. Hello? So date of borrowing is in which year? Can I say 1920 is the year in which the loan was taken? So the year in which the loan was taken, end of that year. End of that year. From that, you are supposed to count 5 years. If you will count 5 years from this date, no, answer is wrong. Check 5 years from the end of the year in which the loan was taken. Check 5 years from the end of the year in which the loan was. Within this 5 years, the purchase or construction should complete. So the purpose for which you have taken the loan, purchase or construction, that purchase, that construction should happen within this 5 years. Hello, sir. When will you take the loan? When will you take the loan? On or after. On or after. For what purpose? Purchase or construction of house property. This purchase or construction should complete. Purchase or construction must be completed within 5 years from date of taking the loan. 5 years from the end of the previous year or financial year in which loan was, and there is one more condition, but that goes without saying, that loan and interest certificate from lender has to be obtained. Because without that, they are not going to know that whether the loan is genuine loan or not, whether the interest is genuine or not. Hello? So this comes in every case. Getting my point? So that goes without saying that loan and interest certificate from the lender is also required. So now tell me, the main 3 conditions are: loan must be taken on or after 1st April 99. Yes or no? For the purpose of, and the purchase or construction must be completed within 5 years from the end of the financial year in which the loan was. If the loan has satisfied, if you have taken a housing loan by satisfying all the 3 conditions, if you have taken a housing loan by satisfying all the 3 conditions given here, hello, only then interest can be claimed up to 2 lakhs. If this condition is satisfied, wait, condition number 1, condition number 2, condition number 3. Sir, condition number 1, condition number 2, condition number 3. Yes or no? 1, 2, 3. All the conditions are satisfied. Limit will be 1, 2 satisfied, 3 not satisfied. Construction took more than 5 years. Then the limit will be 2 lakhs? No. Then you can take the limit of 30,000. Sir. Construction was completed within 5 years. Loan was taken also for purchase or construction, but the loan was taken prior to 1499. Then also 2 lakh limit will not come, 30,000. Hello sir. Sir, loan taken on or after 1499. For whatever reason the loan was taken, that was completed within 5 years. But the reason was not purchase or construction, the reason was repairs renewals. So the loan was not taken for purchase or construction. Then also the limit of 2 lakh will not come, limit of 30,000. Got it, sir? If all the 3 conditions I have told you, tick, 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 then only take the limit of 2 lakhs. Will you remember this? Now, I am giving you one example. You are going to tell me how much limit will come. Okay, no? Mr. Manohar has a house property in T Nagar, Chennai. Has a house property in T Nagar, Chennai, which has given on a monthly rent of 50,000 to his friend, Mr. Narendra. Okay. Mr. Manohar has taken a housing loan for this property. Mr. Manohar has taken a housing loan for this property in the year 2020-21. In the year 2020-21. By taking the loan, he acquired the property. By taking the loan, he acquired. Acquired means purchased the property. Yes or no? The purchase was done immediately. The purchase was done, meaning within 5 years. Loan was taken in 2021, meaning first condition fulfilled. Hello, for the purpose of acquisition means purchase. Second condition is also fulfilled, and he immediately purchased the property by taking this loan, meaning within 5 years only. No, how much limit you will take? How much limit you will take? How much limit you will take? Gone. Mr. Manohar's property is not SOP. He has given this property on rent to his friend Narendra. 50,000 per month. If you give the property on rent to someone, will that property be SOP or LOP? For LOP, for DLOP, don't check these conditions. Entire interest will be there, no? Fully allowed, without any monetary limit. Limit will be 2 lakhs or 30,000 on the amount of interest only if the property is SOP. If you come to know now that in the question the property is SOP, only then come here and check all these things. Whether 2 lakh limit will come or 30,000 limit will come. Whether 2 lakh limit will come or 30,000 limit will come. Depends on these 3 conditions. I know, but you will check these 3 conditions only if the property is. Read the question, listen to me properly. Hello, sir. Checking these points. Wow. In case of LOP, DLOP, your SRO number is required, I guess. Should I ask you to bring your SRO number? Hello, will you remember this? Now let's once and for the final time. Housing loan meaning I know. Interest on housing loan will be allowed under 24B. On what basis? Meaning that you have to see that during your previous year how much loan is outstanding. On that entire loan you calculate the interest. Yes or no? if you will calculate the interest for this year, meaning that this interest is due for this year. Whether that interest is paid by you in this year or still outstanding in this year will not make any difference. Whatever interest due for this year will be fully allowed as a deduction without any monetary limit. This year's full interest, full amount of interest, whether it is 1 lakh, whether it is 2 lakh, whether it is 5 lakh, whether it is 10 lakh, whatever may be the amount of interest which is becoming due in this year, full amount of interest you claim as a deduction if that interest relates to LOP or DLOP. Will you remember? But whatever amount of interest which becomes due in this year in relation to your SOP, in relation to your, that entire interest will be allowed subject to a maximum limit. Hello? And the maximum limit is 2 lakhs. We are coming to this 2 lakh or 3 lakh only if the property is SOP. Getting my point? Now, when will you take the maximum limit of 2 lakhs? Loan was taken on or after 1st April 99. Loan was taken for the purpose of purchase or, and such purchase or construction is completed within, from the end of the financial year in which the loan was. If all the three conditions are fulfilled, then whatever interest which becomes due, during the relevant previous year for your SOP will be allowed subject to a maximum limit of 2 lakhs. Otherwise, in all the other cases of SOP, all the other housing loans for SOP, you are going to take 30,000 limit. Will you remember this? Sure. Now, one question I would like to ask you. This year my property is LOP, DLOP. This year my property is whatever interest becoming due in this year will be allowed in this year fully without any monetary limit. Now tell me, next year the same property, next year I am self-occupying for my residential use. Will the status change or remain same? Change, no. Ayyo, this year I have given the property on rent. So this year status will be LOP. And next year the same property if I self-occupy. So next year the status of the property will remain LOP only or it will change. We also change every now and then, no? So the status of the property should also, what if next year also the property is given on rent? Then the status will remain. Next to next year also the property is given on rent. Then the status will remain. But what if I don't want anyone else to stay in that property? I myself want to stay in that property. So I told my tenant that tenant, please vacate the property. I want to occupy the property. Tenant vacated and from the next year I am occupying the property. So tell me, what will be the status of the property next year? Can the government say, no, last year the property was LOP, no? So this year also the property is LOP. What bullshit you are talking? Next year the property will be SOP. Now tell me, this year the property was? So the interest which becomes due in this year will be fully allowed without any monetary. What is the status in the next year? What is the status in the next year? So whatever interest which will become due in the next year will be fully allowed or will be allowed subject to limit. Even though the interest was fully allowed in this year, next year there will be a limit because next year the status is SOP. Hello, sir. I cannot say no. Government, last year for the same property, same loan, full interest you allowed. So government will say, last year the property was, keep your property LOP this year also. So this year's interest also we will fully allow. Getting my point? But if the status of the property has changed in this year the property has become SOP, then whatever interest for this year, for this SOP, we cannot allow fully, we'll have to allow subject to a limit of 2 lakh or 30,000 as the case may be. Will you remember this? Everyone. Now, few important points. We were talking about interest. Principal amount of the housing loan will be allowed or will not be allowed? Listen to me. Principal amount of loan, housing loan, will be allowed or will not be allowed? Will be allowed. But not under section 24 clause B under the head house property. It will be allowed from your GTI under section 80C subject to certain conditions. But while calculating house property, don't consider this, ignore this. Yes or no? Next one. Expenses like commission, brokerage, processing fees, etc. in respect of housing will be allowed or will not be allowed? Only the interest on housing loan can be claimed as a deduction. Yes or no? Even if all these expenses are incurred for your housing loan only. Are they in the nature of interest? No. So they will not be allowed as a deduction. Sometimes to take the loan, housing loan, you have to pay the commission also. You have to pay the processing fees also. Yes or no? To the banks, etc. So that processing fees for housing loan, that commission which you are paying to someone to get the housing loan. Yes or no? All these are expenses relating to your housing loan only. But they are not in the nature of interest. Hence, they will not be allowed as a deduction. Getting my point? So, whenever you see such type of expenses, what you will do? Ignore. Only the interest on housing loan will be considered. Yes or no? Next one. Sometimes you pay penal interest also. Penal interest means what? It is interest on interest. Interest on charged by the lender if you delay in paying the interest to him. So the lender told you that on 31st of July, you are supposed to pay your interest. What was the due date of payment of interest? 31st July. So if you pay your entire interest on or before 31st July, then there is no problem. But there was a condition in the loan agreement that if you delay beyond the due date, then what will happen? The lender will start charging interest on interest. Lender will start charging interest on, and that interest on interest is nothing but penal interest. We are going to allow interest on housing loan only. We are going to allow interest on housing loan only. Interest on this interest is not allowed. Interest on this interest, meaning penal interest, is not allowed as a deduction. So how much was the amount of interest? 5,000. How much was the amount of interest? But since you did not pay this interest, no, penal interest of 500 was also charged and 5,500 was recovered. How much deduction you are going to take? Entire 5,500 or only 5,000? That 500 penal interest which you have paid, no, is not interest on capital, interest on loan. That is interest on interest. That cannot be claimed as a deduction. Will you remember? Now, see, assessee has house 1. Example, this house 1 he is having in Hyderabad. Where? Okay. Now, this Hyderabad house, he has mortgaged to a bank. Mortgage to get a loan. So, assessee mortgage his Hyderabad property H1 to the bank, and the bank is giving him a loan. Getting my point? Now by this loan, by using this loan, the assessee is acquiring another house. Another house can be acquired in Hyderabad or somewhere else also. For example, let's say Hyderabad house mortgaged to bank, bank giving loan, and from this loan, a house in Chennai is acquired. Possible or not? Yes or no? Now tell me, do you still have Hyderabad house or it is mortgaged? Mortgaged meaning, are you the owner of that house? Yes. Just mortgaging the house does not mean that you have sold it. and it becomes the property of the bank. No, you are still the owner of that house. Mortgaging means giving the property as a security. You are telling the bank that, see, I am the owner of this house, huh? If I'll not be able to pay you the loan, don't worry. This house I will sell. This house will belong to you. Sell the house. That time take the house away from me. Sell the house and recover your loan. I'm just giving this house as a security. So that bank does not hesitate to give me loan. Getting my point? To obtain the loan, did I mortgage my property? To obtain the loan, did I mortgage my property? So property going there or it is still with you? Still with you. You are the owner of that property. Yes or no? Now you took the loan. You took the loan. Now by this loan, what are you doing? You are acquiring another house. House 2. Now how many houses you own? 1 or 2? 1 you were already owning. Hyderabad. Yes or no? Second, you started owning in Chennai. But this Chennai house was acquired by a loan. Chennai house was acquired by a loan which you obtained by mortgaging your Hyderabad house. Done, sir? So tell me now. Now, will you pay interest on this loan to the bank? Hello? This is interest on housing loan. Now, how many houses you have? Hyderabad and so Hyderabad house annual value calculated. Chennai house annual value calculated. Now, from which annual value you are going to claim the deduction for this interest on housing loan? Interest on housing loan is only one. So interest is also only one amount. Now you have a confusion that from which property's annual value I should claim this interest? Hyderabad or Chennai? Apply some mind, no. Don't be silent like this. Hyderabad or Chennai? Chennai or Hyderabad? Now say Hyderabad. You have to see that the loan which you have taken was used on which property? Was it used on Hyderabad property or it was used to acquire Chennai property? From the annual value of that property only the interest will be allowed. So you are supposed to see that the loan amount is used for which property. The loan amount is used for which property? That is the property from whose annual value you are going to claim the interest. Hyderabad property was just mortgaged to take the loan. The loan amount was not utilized on Hyderabad property. Getting my point? So always see that the loan amount is utilized or used for which property. Getting my point? Use of the loan is important. Okay. So pay attention. Now the loan is used to acquire house 2. So on that loan, whatever interest you are giving to the bank will be allowed as a deduction. From Hyderabad? No. From Chennai property, since the loan was used to acquire this property. Will you remember this? Hello, sir. Now see, housing loan from HDFC Bank. Which bank? Ground floor HDFC Bank is there. I took housing loan in the past. But I have repaid fair amount of housing loan. This year, how much housing loan still is outstanding? 20 lakhs. How much housing loan is still outstanding? 20 lakhs. Housing loan which was taken from HDFC Bank in the past. I have started the repayment also and everything, but out of the entire housing loan, still 20 lakh rupees of housing loan is outstanding in this year. Yes or no? On that housing loan, no, I was paying interest at the rate of 12%. How much? So in the morning only, no, I saw in a newspaper advertisement from ICICI Bank that loans are available, housing loans are available only at 10%. So just imagine, I have already taken a housing loan from HDFC. Right now or in the past, I have been repaying that loan. Now after repaying some part of the housing loan, still some housing loan is remaining. How much? Housing loan outstanding means this is still remaining to be repaid to HDFC Bank. And on this loan, no, HDFC Bank is charging 12% because at the time when I took the loan, the interest agreed was 12%. So definitely the HDFC Bank is going to charge how much interest on this? 12%. Getting my point? So now what happened? Today I saw in the newspaper that ICICI Bank is offering housing loan at 10%. So in the morning, no, I came to HDFC Bank. I told that bank 20 lakh rupees loan I have taken for 20 lakh rupees of housing loan is still outstanding, which I have to repay. On that you are charging how much? On that you are charging how much? But see, if you can do anything, if you can reduce my rate of interest, then it would be a great help. And why I came here? Because now I know that the housing loans are available at cheaper rate of interest. Yes or no? And if I am paying more, then definitely I will not feel good. I will come in the bank and try to negotiate with the bank. No, that why are you charging more interest from me? Other banks are. So they gave me a very rude reply, Very rude reply. See, at the time when you took the loan, we told you that the interest rate will not change. It will remain 12%. Come what may, we are not going to reduce interest rate. Flat rate loan you have taken. Some are floating rates also, fluctuating rates also. Okay, but sometimes the loans are flat rate loans. So I took a flat rate loan, and that time only the bank told me that we are not going to increase or decrease the interest. You have to pay 12% flat. So don't waste our time. Morning time is there. Okay, it is our main business time. Please don't disturb us. Go away. We are not going to reduce any rate of interest. I felt really bad the way in which the manager talked to me. I got down from the bank. Opposite side, ICICI Bank is there. I went to ICICI Bank. Manager, very welcoming, good fellow. He welcomed me. Manager came outside. Come, welcome sir, welcome sir, welcome sir. What will you have, sir? Tea, coffee. This fellow, he did not even ask me for water. He was asking me for tea, coffee. New customer, no? How can I help you, sir? Actually, I'm the customer of HDFC Bank. I've already taken a loan from them. Oh, is it? What type of loan you have taken, sir? Already I have taken a housing loan, and I have repaid some of the amount of that housing loan. Still 20 lakh is remaining to be paid. In the morning I saw that you all are also offering housing loan. So that manager got excited. He said, yeah, sir, we are offering at only 10%. But since you are walk-in and you saw in the newspaper advertisement, and by looking at that you are coming, we are going to offer you, for you, special 9% only. I said, no, I don't want to take a new housing loan. I already have a housing loan. I was just wondering that how come so much of the difference? He said, sir, we don't exploit our customers. We are good bank, this, that, okay, no. We are not like HDFC people. I said, okay, but I'm stuck, no. When I took the loan, at that time the interest rate fixed was 12%. Now what do I do? I feel so bad that now I have to pay more interest also and they are not giving me good treatment also. So that ICICI bank manager said, sir, don't worry. We are there. How much loan, housing loan is remaining to be paid? How much loan is outstanding? Don't worry. That manager immediately wrote a check of 20 lakhs. Immediately wrote a check of, handed it over to me. Sir, take the 20 lakh loan from us and pay this 20 lakh to that HDFC bank and become our valued customer. I said, wow, how much interest you are going to charge? Only 9%, sir. You are a valued customer for us. Hello, understanding what is happening? Entire story, no, is about paying the old loan by taking a new loan. What was the loan? Housing loan. How much was the amount outstanding? 20 lakhs. To pay that 20 lakh of outstanding loan, hello, I took a new loan from ICICI Bank amounting to, now tell me how many loans will I have? I still have one loan. But now instead of lender being HDFC, my lender will change. It will become ICICI. Now my question is, the new loan which I have taken, the new loan which I have, for what amount? Is it the same amount as that of my old housing loan? Yes or no? But now tell me, is it the same loan? Will it be considered as a same loan? Meaning, will this loan also be considered as a housing loan? The answer is yes. Any loan which you take to repay your old housing loan, that new loan which you are taking to repay your old housing loan will also be treated as housing loan. And on this, whatever interest you are going to pay on this fresh loan will also be allowed as a deduction. Now the interest outflow will also come down. It is just what is happening, only the lender is getting changed. Other than the amount of loan outstanding remaining the same only, no. So instead of the lender being HDFC, now your new lender becomes ICICI. The new loan steps into the shoes of old loan. New loan is replacing your old loan. So what was your old loan? Housing loan. So what will be your new loan? Housing loan. Getting my point? Hello. This can be exploited in the question as a small adjustment. 20 lakh rupees loan is outstanding from HDFC Bank. At the rate of 12% interest was charged. At the rate of 12% the interest was charged. So to repay this loan in this year, 20 lakh of fresh loan is taken from ICICI at the rate of 9%. While solving the question, this adjustment will be given. What will you do? Will you calculate the interest at 20%, 12% or 9%? On the same amount, no? Now, will that interest be treated as interest on housing loan only? Yes. Will it be allowed as a deduction? Yes. Claim that amount also as a deduction. But subject to 2 lakh or 30,000 if the property is SOP. Claim the entire amount if the property is LOP or DLOP. Will you remember all these things? Now, very important discussion. So tired? Tired? Sorry? So tired? Take a breather for 5 minutes. I'm not giving you a break, huh? Take a breather. Have fun for 5 minutes. What? You are going out? See, everyone will start going out now. Come fast, huh? I'll start in 5 minutes. Mr. Kamlesh, why did you remove your beard? What? Oh, that is the reason. Sit, sit. You stay here only, no? Localite. Where do you stay? Malleshwaram only, no? Same area. Far from this place. How much time does it take? 30 minutes. Not far then. 30 minutes is okay. In first year, second year. Which year? College. Not going to college. College completed. Graduate already. Ah, good. Antara is good movie, no? Hmm. They have spent more money on this movie. So the story connects to the first one? Hmm? I'm making one timeline in front of you. My previous year is previous year. 25, 26. Yes or no? Prior to that, previous year 24, 25. Prior to that, previous year 23, 24. Madam, shh, don't. And prior to that, previous year 22, 23. Okay, no? So what happens that during the previous year 22, 23, on 1st of June 2022, I took a housing loan. I took a housing loan. Loan amounting to rupees 12 lakhs at the rate of 10% per annum interest. Now this loan I have taken for the construction of the house. Construction of the house. What? I have a house or I am constructing a house. So by taking the loan, I will construct. Or maybe I would have already started the construction. Money, uh, there was a money problem to continue the construction. So I took another loan. I took a loan to continue the construction. Getting my point? I might start the construction by taking the loan, or construction has already been started, but to continue that construction, I am taking the loan. Ultimately, this is a loan for constructing the property. We are not interested in knowing that when the construction was started. Hello? Will you pay the interest from date of starting the construction, or you are going to pay the interest from date of taking the loan? Definitely the date on which you are taking the loan, from that date only you are going to pay the interest, no? So if you are talking about what? Interest. If we are talking about interest, ignore about the date of starting the construction. When do you commence the construction? Getting my point? Always check the date on which the loan is taken. So date of loan was 1st of June 2022. Okay. By taking this loan, I started the construction, or construction continued. Construction is going on, and finally in 25-26, on 30th of September 2025, construction got completed. Construction got. So can I say this is the date of completion of construction? Date of completion of construction. DOCOC. Date of completion of DOCO. Now tell me one thing. Do you have a house property in 22-23? Or it is under construction? Under construction means you have or you don't have. Structure is not ready. Till the time the structure is not ready to be used as a property, there is no house property. When do you get house property? When the construction is completed. Yes or no? When the construction was completed? The construction was completed in 25-26. So can I say house property came into existence in 25-26 for the first time? So I have a house property in 25-26. Will I calculate the annual value? Will I calculate the annual value of this house property? Yes. In 25-26, I have a house property. Yes. I am the owner of the house property. Yes. I am not using that house property for my own business or profession. So will I calculate the annual value of this property? Hello. So if a house property is there and I have also calculated the annual value of the property, so whatever interest which becomes due for this year, what did I say? Whatever interest which becomes due for this year will be allowed as a deduction out of the annual value of this year. Yes or no? So can I say that the interest from this date to this date, starting from 1st April till 30th September, and interest from this date to this date. Tell me, interest for the full year, whether prior to construction completion or after the completion, can I say this interest becoming due in this year will be allowed as a deduction in this year. This interest is also becoming due in this year, will be allowed as a deduction in this year. Understanding? Hello, sir. Whatever interest which becomes due in this year will be allowed as a deduction in this year only. Hello? So, whether that interest becomes due prior to date of completion of construction or on or after date of completion of construction will not make any difference, because this entire interest becomes due in this year. So, it will be allowed as a deduction in this year. Getting my point? Hello, sir. So, tell me, what about this interest? What about this interest? Interest for this period. Interest for this period I am talking specifically. Starting from 1st April. So, interest from 1st April 2000 and interest from 1st April 2025 to 30th September 2025. Can I say this interest? And next one, 1st October 2025 to 31st March 2026. This entire interest becomes due in which previous year? Due in which previous year? So, shall be allowed during previous year 25-26 as your normal interest for this year. Yes or no? Now tell me, you have taken the loan in this year or earlier? When did you take the loan? Can I say in 22-23 for 10 months you have paid the interest? Hello? Next year 12 months you have paid the interest. Next year, can I say till this date? Till 31st March 2025. You have paid the interest 10 months, 12 months, 12 months. This is also your interest on housing loan. This is also interest on housing loan. This is interest on housing loan. But you are not able to claim this interest. Why? Because for this entire period, hello sir, for this entire period you did not have a house property and annual value of the house property was not calculated. So if house property is not there in 22-23, annual value will be calculated or will not be calculated? Will not be calculated. So 10 months interest of 22-23 was not allowed. Even if it was interest on housing loan. If you want to claim it, you should have a house property and annual value of that house property should be calculated. From that annual value only, we are going to allow you that interest, no? But did you have a house property? No. Did you calculate the annual value? No. So from where we should give you the deduction of this interest? Don't claim it. We are not going to allow. Next year also, same issue. Next year also, same issue, because during this entire period, there was no house property only. Annual value was not calculated only. When did you first have a house property now? When are you having your house property for the first time now? In 25-26. So from this year onwards, whatever interest will become due will be allowed from this year onwards. But what about the earlier interest? Starting from your date of borrowing till 31st March. Which 31st March? 31st March immediately preceding to DOCOC. What did I say? 31st March, immediately preceding to DOCOC. What is your DOCOC? Date of completion of construction. What is that date? 30th September. 30th. 31st March, immediately preceding to that date. Till that 31st March, whatever interest you have paid, that interest was not allowed to you. That interest was not allowed, even if that was interest on housing loan. So can I say, starting from date of borrowing, starting from till 31st March. Which 31st March? Immediately preceding to date of completion of construction. This entire period is known as pre-construction period. What will you call this period? And any interest which you have paid during this pre-construction period will also be allowed as a deduction. Hello? Hello? Not just the normal interest of 25-26, this year interest we are going to allow. Not just this, but even the pre-construction interest will be allowed as a deduction under 24 clause B. But it will be allowed in 5 equal annual installments. It will be allowed in 5 equal annual installments starting from the year in which the construction was completed. What did I say? Starting from the year in which the construction was completed. Now let us assume that there was no repayment. There was, how much loan was outstanding for these 10 months? 12 lakh. How much loan was outstanding for these 12 months? How much loan was outstanding for these 12 months? 12 lakhs. Because there is no repayment of the loan. Getting my point? If there is a repayment, then the loan amount will automatically get reduced. Getting my point? So tell me, for this 10 months, you have given interest or you have not given interest? Given interest, no? How much? 12 lakh into 10% into 10 upon 12. 1 lakh interest for this year. Hello, sir. What about this 12 months? 1 lakh 20. 12 lakh into 10% for full 12 months. What about these 12 months? 1 lakh 20. Can I say 1 lakh plus 1 lakh 20 plus 1 lakh 20 total pre-construction interest is how much? 3 lakh. This would have been allowed if there was a house property and you would have calculated the annual value. But since there was no house property, you did not calculate the annual value during that period. This interest on housing loan was not allowed. So we are giving you deduction for this interest on housing loan also, which relates to your pre-construction period. Will you remember? But this will be allowed fully or in 5 equal annual installments. So do 1/5 of this. How much? So this will be allowed. As pre-construction interest with effect from which year? No. With effect from which year? The year in which construction is completed. So what is the year of construction completion? So with effect from 25-26, every year you will start getting 68 extra in addition to the normal interest which becomes due for that year. The normal interest which becomes due in that year, that is going to be allowed. But in addition to the normal interest of that year, you are going to get this 68,000 also. So tell me, in 25-26, in 25-26, will you pay normal interest? Will you pay normal interest? How much normal interest you will pay? 60,000. Normal interest, I am saying, normal interest for that year. The interest which becomes due on the loan in that year. 25, 26, how many months? 12 months, you will pay the interest on the same 12 lakh. So that is normal interest for that year, no? Ayyo. So normal interest will be how much for 25, 26? That we are going to allow you in that year. In addition to that, we are going to allow you this 68,000 for the first time. So 25, 26, 68,000 will be claimed for the first time. Then 26, 27. Then 27, 28. Then 28, 29. Then 29, 30. For these 5 years now, whatever interest will become due in these 5 years, normal interest, that is going to be allowed. But the 68,000 will be additionally allowed in these 5 years along with the normal interest. Yes or no? So tell me, for previous year 25, 26, you have to first calculate what? You have to first calculate, meaning the loan which is outstanding in 25, 26. Now tell me, how much loan you took? How much loan you have taken? Did you repay any amount here? Did you repay any amount here? Did you repay any amount here? So can I say you have not repaid any amount in 25, 26 also? So 12 lakh rupees of loan is outstanding for the entire 25, 26. So on that 12 lakh, you will have to give the interest in 25, 26 also, no? So what interest you are going to give on 12 lakh loan for 25, 26? 1 lakh 20. That is the normal interest for 25, 26. Yes or no? So normal interest you will have to first calculate. 12 lakhs into 10%. That is, okay. In this you will add 1/5 of pre-construction interest. First installment. Which installment? Because in 25, 26 the construction has completed. This is the year of completion of construction. In this year, from this year, you will start getting 1/5 of 340, meaning 68,000 you will start getting for the first time from 25, 26 onwards. Yes or no? So how much is the interest? Pre-construction interest? 68. So tell me, how much is the total interest for this year now? 1 lakh. Can I say now this is the total interest? Hello? For this year? 25, 26. Understanding or not? Now this year, if your property is LOP or DLOP, this 1,88,000 will be fully allowed. What if your property is SOP in this year? This will be allowed subject to maximum 2 lakhs. Why 2 lakhs, you know? Loan taken on or after 1st April 99 for the purpose of purchase or construction. Yes or no? And the construction also got completed within 5 years from the end of the financial year in which the loan was taken. Yes or no? So from the end of the financial year in which the loan was taken, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and 2 more years are there. Getting my point? Within that 5 years, the construction got completed. So all the 3 conditions are fulfilled. Yes or no? So the limit will be 2 lakhs. So this 1,88,000 will be allowed subject to maximum limit of 2 lakh if in the previous year 25, 26 the property is SOP. Will you remember? Hello? Now tell me, did I say that any repayment is there? Now let's introduce repayment also. Hello? This basic structure you understood. What is pre-construction interest? What is pre-construction interest? You will always say the interest which relates to pre-construction period. The interest which relates to pre-construction period is pre-construction interest. Right? Now what is pre-construction period? The period which starts from date of borrowing. The period which starts from and ends on 31st, immediately preceding to DOCOC. Period will start from date of borrowing It will end on 31st March. It will end on 31st March. Immediately preceding to. So you'll have to check date of completion of construction. Immediately prior to this, whatever 31st March is there, that is the date on which your pre-construction period will end. So from this till this is your pre-construction period. This is your pre-construction. During this period, whatever interest you have given, that interest will be known as pre-construction interest. Hello, sir? Hello, sir? Will you get the deduction for that pre-construction interest also? Yes. But in 5 equal annual installments starting from the year in which construction is completed. Starting from the year in which the construction is completed. Will you remember this? Yes or no? So now somebody will say, sir, why have you stopped your pre-construction period on 31st March itself? It should stop on date of completion of construction, no? Hello? The logic I already gave you earlier. Why? Because whatever interest which will become due for this year, hello, and which will become due for this year will be allowed as a deduction in this year only, no? So if you take your pre-construction period till DOCOC, what will happen? The interest for this period will be included in the pre-construction interest also, and it will be allowed as normal interest for that year also. Meaning the interest for the same period will be claimed twice. If the interest for this year gets allowed in this year, then forget about this year. Any year prior to this, what did I say? Any year prior to this, till that year only your pre-construction interest should come. Will you remember this? Hello. So now pay attention. How much loan you had taken? 12 lakh you have taken? How much loan? Out of this 12 lakh, no, you have repaid 10 lakhs. Possible, not possible? Now I will tell you the date also. I will tell you how much you have repaid. And you have repaid 10 lakhs on 31st of December 2024. 31st December 2024. Can I say 31st December 2024 will come here? 31st December 2024. How much loan repaid? 10 lakh repaid. Now, will this information change your calculations? Absolutely yes. How come? Pay attention. 10 lakh you have already repaid, no? Out of 12, 10 lakh is already repaid. So 10 lakh repaid on 31st December. So tell me, from 1st June till 31st March, for these 10 months, 12 lakh is outstanding because you have not repaid any amount. On this entire 12 lakh, 10 months, interest will be the same amount, 1 lakh. There will be no change. Tell me for 23-24 also, the loan outstanding was 12 lakhs. So this year also the interest will be 1 lakh 20. So this will remain same, this will remain same. Yes or no? Tell me, on 12 lakh, you will pay interest in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November and December. 24-25. Which year? 24-25 till 31st December. Till 12 lakh is outstanding. So, on 12 lakh, 10% you will pay how many months? 9 months. Hello. So, can I say in this year, no, 1,20,000 will not come. This year 1,20,000 will not come. can I say on 12 lakh at the rate of 10% for 9 months, 90,000 will come till 31st December? Yes or no? Then after you repay 10 lakh, how much loan is now outstanding? So if 2 lakh is outstanding, will you pay interest on 12 lakh or 2 lakh now? So for Jan, Feb and March, Jan, Feb and for these 3 months, you are not going to pay interest on 12 lakh, you are going to pay interest on 2 lakhs. So 2 lakh into 10% into 3 by 12. How much? 5,000. Yes or no, sir? So for this year, for the year 24, 25, now the interest will not be 1 lakh 20. Now the interest will be 90,000 and 5,000. That will be 95,000. So 95,000 plus 1 lakh 20,000 plus 1 lakh. 95,000 plus 1 lakh 20 plus 1 lakh. Now this 3 lakh 40 will change and here you will write 3 lakh 15,000. Yes or no? Now do 1/5 of this. 60. So instead of 68, now this will become, and this 63 will be allowed as pre-construction interest with effect from the previous year in which construction is. So first year in which you will claim this will be 25, 26. So in 25, 26, this 68,000 will change, It will be how much? It will be 63,000. Instead of 68, you will put 63. Now tell me one thing. How much loan is pending? So can I say that 2 lakh will be pending for outstanding for 25, 26? So in 25, 26, you are not going to pay interest on 12 lakh. You are going to pay interest on 2 lakh. So normal interest, what did I say? Normal interest will be calculated only on 2 lakhs now. Getting my point? So 2 lakh which was outstanding during the previous year, 25, 26, on that 10%, how much you will pay? 20,000. Getting my point? And 63,000. Total will be? Now this 83 will be total interest for this year. If this year the property is LOP, DLOP, fully allowed. If this year the property will be SOP, then subject to 2 lakh, this 83 will be fully allowed. 2 lakh will be the limit. Yes or no? Will you be able to calculate like this? Now one more small thing. Entire 2 lakhs. Entire, which was outstanding, no? Repaid on 30th September, repaid on 31st December 2025. When did you repay 10 lakhs? When did you repay 2 lakhs? 31st December 2000. You repaid. Now how much is outstanding? That entire 2 lakh is repaid on 31st December 25. 31st December, entire 2 lakh repaid. Will it affect this 3 lakh 15? No, 3 lakh 15 will be same. So this 63 will also be same. But can I say in 25, 26 on 31st December here, you are making the repayment. So now in the year 25, 26, now in the year 25, 26, you are going to pay interest on 2 lakh. But till December only. Why? Because on 31st December you have repaid the entire 2 lakhs. January, February, March of 25, 26, there will be no loan. So there will be no interest. Getting my point? So can I say this 2 lakh into 10% for 25, 26 it will come. But it will not come from April to March. It will come from April to December. How many months? 9 upon 12. This will be 15,000 plus 63,000. 70. This will be now your total interest for this year. Okay, no? The most difficult thing you have completed from this chapter. This is the most difficult thing. Okay? Interest on housing loan. Did you understand the pre-construction interest, everyone? What is pre-construction interest? Pre-construction interest, it is interest for the, and when the pre-construction period will start, it will start from date of borrowing and it will end on 31st March, immediately preceding to Date of completion of construction. We call it DOCOC. So whatever interest you have paid for this period, whatever interest which you have paid for this period will be known as pre-construction interest. That pre-construction interest for pre-construction period will be allowed as a deduction or will not be allowed? Will also be allowed under 24B. But it will be allowed in 5 equal annual installment. 5 equal annual installment starting from the previous year in which the construction was. Yes or no? So, this interest shall be allowed in addition to normal interest which becomes due in the relevant previous year. Hence, where the question has pre-construction interest in addition to normal interest in any previous year, then the deduction under 24B shall be how much? Interest for that year. Calculate the normal interest for that year and also calculate the pre-construction interest. Calculate 1/5. Hello? Calculate that 1/5. Add both these interest. This will be the total interest for that year. Yes or no? We have already done that. No? Now it is in the theory. With amounts we have done this thing. Yes or no? Now this total interest will be allowed fully if the property is LOP or DLOP. This total interest will be allowed subject to a maximum limit of 2 lakhs or 30,000 as the case may be if the property is SOP. Will you remember this? Example which I gave you, no? The same example is here. Okay? Hello, sir. And I have shown the calculations also. If somebody did not understand the calculation from my words, no? So for you, I have written this. Okay? Go through these calculations. You will come to know how every amount is calculated. Otherwise, go to school. Okay? Now pay attention. One important thing. Do you remember there is one default tax regime under section? If you follow 115 BSc, if you follow 115 BSc, certain deductions, certain exemptions are not allowed. Certain deductions, certain exemptions are yes or no? Do you remember that? Now see, if you are an assessee who is an individual, HUF, AOP, BY and AJP. If you don't follow 115 BSc, if you means default tax regime, you are following or you are not following? Meaning you are shifting out from default tax regime. You are shifting out from default tax regime, meaning you are coming in the normal tax regime. Meaning you are coming in the optional tax regime. Hello. So if you are shifting out from 115 BSc, meaning you are not following 115 BSc, then deduction under section 24B, deduction under section, you can claim it for your LOP, DLOP, unlimited amount, and also you can claim it for SOP subject to maximum 2 lakhs. Subject to maximum. But what if the assessee follows 115 BSc? What if the assessee follows? Will he be eligible to claim deduction for interest on housing loan? Yes. If the property is LOP, DLOP. Unlimited interest is allowed. In case of LOP or DLOP, unlimited interest is allowed in case of LOP or DLOP. Whether you follow 115 BSc or not will not make any difference. But the deduction of interest from SOP, what did I say? Deduction for interest on SOP, that will be allowed to the extent of 2 lakhs, yes or no? Only if you shift out. If you follow default tax regime, if you follow interest on SOP up to 2 lakhs which you can claim, yes or no? Up to 30,000 which you can claim, will not be allowed. So now in the question you will have to be a little bit careful. If they have told you that property is SOP, property is, and the assessee is following default tax regime, will you calculate interest? Even if you will calculate, it is not allowed. No need to calculate also. Hello, sir. But what if the question says that the property is SOP, property is, and interest calculation is also given, and the assessee is not following 115 BSE, then calculate the interest, claim that interest up to 2 lakh because you are not following 115 BSE. This you are going to do only in the case of SOP, only in the case of. So now can I put it like this? Interest on housing loan for LOP or DLOP for SOP. If you don't follow, it will be allowed, subject to maximum 2 lakhs, and this will be allowed fully. Done, sir? But what if you follow 115 BSE? You follow 115 BSE, then this will be allowed, this will not be allowed. Done, sir? Should I move ahead? Yes or no? Now section 25, can you see? Section 25. This is a disallowance. This is a disallowance for interest. For example, you have taken a loan from outside India. You have taken on that loan, now you are supposed to pay interest outside India. So where are you paying interest? Housing loan interest, you are sending outside India, no? So you are paying that interest outside India to someone who is outside India. That someone is earning interest income from India. For you, the interest is expense because you are paying interest. Have you taken housing loan? Sir, have you taken housing loan? On that housing loan, will you pay interest? So if you will pay interest, interest is your expense, no? Which you are going to claim as a deduction, yes or no? For you it is expense, but for the person whom you will pay, for that person it is income, no? Tell me yes or no. Where is that person, you know? Outside India. The person who is outside India may be a non-resident or maybe RNOR. Maybe a non-resident or maybe RNOR. And that person is receiving interest from you. Is receiving. Bloody, he is earning Indian income. He is earning. On that Indian income, he is liable to pay tax in India, whether his status is RNOR or NR. Do you remember that? But will he come to pay tax from outside India? So the government will go there, no? Neither the government can go, nor he will come. Then you are the source of income for him, no? From you only, he is getting that income, no? So you are the source of his income. Deduct the tax and then give the balance amount. Net amount you will say. This is a requirement under the TDS provisions that if certain type of payments you are making, on those payments, you are the source of the income for someone, making that payment to someone. So at source only you are supposed to deduct tax, TDS, tax deducted at source. How much you will deduct? We will tell you. For example, 10%. For example, so 1 lakh rupees interest you are supposed to pay. How much interest? Will you give full 1 lakh? Or you will have to deduct 10%. So deduct 10%. 90,000. You will have to pay 90,000 after deducting TDS. After deducting, and what about that 10,000 which you have deducted? Deposit that amount to the government. Because from someone's income, you are deducting tax on behalf of government. Because you are giving him that income. Getting my point? So now the amount of income which you have deducted in the form of tax is not your father's money. It is the money which belongs to the government. Deposit that amount to the government. This way, the government will collect tax on the income of that non-resident who is sitting outside India. Okay. So now you had a responsibility to deduct TDS. You had a responsibility of deducting TDS and then send the net amount over there, deduct TDS and deposit to the government. But you committed TDS default. You did not deduct TDS only. You did not deduct because you are not aware only that you are supposed to deduct TDS. Or even if you were aware, deliberately you did not deduct. How much amount you are supposed to pay? 1 lakh. 1 lakh you are supposed to pay. Out of that, 10,000 you are supposed to deduct. So you are supposed to net send him how much? 90,000. But you sent the entire 1 lakh without deducting TDS. Government came to you. Hello? You have given 1 lakh income to someone, no, outside India? From that 10,000 you might have deducted? Not deducted. Without deducting TDS, you sent the amount. Now, will he come to India to pay the tax? Can we go there? Because of you, we lost our tax. So, you will also lose. That 1 lakh which you have sent was your interest on housing loan, which you would have claimed as a deduction under 24B, will be disallowed. Will be. That is given in section 25. The interest on housing loan which you are sending outside India, which you are paying outside India, on that TDS was supposed to be deducted. But without deducting TDS, hello, you paid that amount. So because of you, now the government will not receive tax. So there is a loss to the government. You also will lose. What? Your deduction. That interest which you sent outside India, no, was interest on housing loan, which you could have claimed as a deduction under 24 clause B, which we will now not allow. We will disallow that interest. 25. Will you remember this? So any interest on housing loan which is paid, on which TDS is not deducted, or it is deducted but not deposited to the government account, yes or no? So whatever interest on which no TDS is deducted, or TDS is deducted or not paid, yes or no, that entire interest will be disallowed, will not be allowed as a deduction under section 24B. Where it is written? It is written in section 25. Will you remember this? Sure. So you are all set to solve the questions. Take out your notebooks. Question number 1 we have solved, no, yesterday? Question number 1 we have already solved, no? See, this question number 2 is there, no? This relates to a house property which is situated outside India. House property which is situated. So when I will teach you that concept of house property situated outside India, that time we are going to touch this section, touch this question. Right now, I'm not going to do this question. Okay, no? Come to question number 3. Come to question number 3. Shall we? Mr. Manas owns 2 house properties, one at Bombay, wherein his family resides. Bombay property will be LOP or SOP? SOP. Why? Because the property is used for own or family members' residential use. Yes or no? So what will be the status of Bombay property? Because in that property family resides, residence. Yes or no? Now, other at, which is, even if you keep a property unoccupied, meaning reserved for yourself. Hello? Still that property can be treated as SOP. Yesterday I told you about three properties, yes or no? Either used for residence throughout the year, or throughout the year keep it unoccupied, reserve for yourself. Still the property can be treated as SOP, yes or no? See, this is also your SOP. So how many SOPs you have now? Two SOPs. For acquisition of the house property at Bombay, for repair, renewal, construction or purchase. Purchase of Bombay house property. Yes or no? He has taken a loan of rupees at on, and he has not repaid any amount so far. Since that time, 30 lakh is outstanding. This 30 lakh loan taken for which property? Bombay SOP, yes or no? How much was the rate of interest? 10%. Now, see, in respect of house property at Delhi, he has taken a loan of rupees 5 lakh at 11% per annum on 110,2000 towards now the loan which you have taken for Delhi SOP, no, is not a purchase loan, it is not a construction loan, it is a repair loan. Now on repair loan, interest is there, maximum limit will be 30. On purchase or construction loan, interest is there, the limit will be 2 lakhs, provided the loan is taken on or after 1499. Check the date of loan, Bombay loan. On or after 1499? Hello? Loan taken for the purpose of purchase or construction. Loan taken for acquisition. Hello? And if nothing is mentioned, that acquisition is happening after 5 years, usually the loan taken for purchase is at the time of purchase only. Immediately the purchase would happen. Yes or no? So, all the three conditions are fulfilled. Tell me. So, for Bombay house property, interest will be maximum 2 lakhs. And for Delhi house property, interest will be maximum 30,000. Yes or no? Next one. Compute the deduction which would be available to him under section for the assessment year in respect of interest payable on such loan if he exercises the option of shifting out of, meaning following 115 BSE or not following. If you don't follow 115 BSE, will you be able to claim interest deduction for your SOP? Yes. Assuming that, calculate the interest. Hello? Very difficult question. Seriously, I am telling you, very difficult. See, everyone pay attention. SOP at Bombay. SOP at Delhi. Everyone. Now, for this SOP, for both the SOPs, first we will calculate the interest. What we are calculating? We are calculating computation of computation of deduction under section 24 clause B in respect of interest. Yes or no? On housing loan. That we are computing, no? So tell me, for which previous year? Previous year 25, 26, assessment year 26, 27. Done, sir? So now tell me, interest due on loan which which is outstanding during previous year 25, 26. We will call this normal interest. This is my normal interest, yes or no? So how much was the loan taken for Bombay property? That is still outstanding, no? On that 30 lakhs, on that 30 lakhs, how much is the interest rate? 10%. Amount will be, how much loan was taken for Delhi property? 5 lakhs. And on that, how much rate is there? 11% is there, no? So this will be 5,500. Hello? Understanding? Now tell me, this interest is due for my previous year. This interest is due for my previous year. But it is due for SOP, due for SOP. Due for SOP, due for SOP. This interest will be allowed fully or subject to limit. So this interest I am supposed to claim subject to limit. So maximum limit is how much? Maximum limit under section 24 clause B. For the first loan it is 2 lakhs. For the first SOP, yes or no? And for the loan for second SOP, the maximum limit is, why 30,000? Because that was a repairs loan. And why 2 lakh? Because this was an acquisition loan, satisfying all those three conditions. Now, can I say this 2 lakh or 3 lakh? Whichever is lower, whichever is, will be allowed as a deduction. Hello, sir. And 55,000 or 30,000, whichever is lower, will be allowed as a deduction. So can I say this is A and B? We will write down this is A and this is B. So lower of A and B. Tell me, here it will be and here it will be. Lower of A and B, 2 lakh and 30,000. Now pay attention. Are you an assessee? Are you an assessee? If you have one SOP, if you have one assessee having one SOP, can claim interest under section 24B, maximum 2 lakhs. Maximum or 30,000 as the case may be, yes or no? So that limit of 2 lakhs, that limit of is given assessee wise, is given. So whether assessee is having one SOP, whether assessee is having, so that assessee can claim how much deduction? 2 lakhs. Hello? But what if the assessee is having 2 SOPs? He can claim 2 lakhs. He can claim that 2 lakh limit is given for assessee for his one SOP or both the SOPs taken together. His interest cannot be more than 2 lakhs. So now, even if there was 2 lakhs limit for both, the total deduction cannot be more than 2 lakhs. Even for one, the assessee will get 2 lakh, or even for 2 SOPs taken together, the interest he cannot claim more than 2 lakh, because the deduction for that interest is not given to property, it is given to assessee. So are you an assessee? Hello? Will you have one SOP? Will you have one SOP? How much maximum interest you can claim? 2 lakh. Can you have 2 SOPs? So for both these SOPs taken together, how much interest you can claim? 2 lakhs. Two lakh 30 or maximum 2 lakhs. So this plus this will be 2 lakh 30. Hello? But restricted to, what did I say? Restricted to maximum 2 lakhs. Therefore, deduction under section 24 clause B for previous year 25-26 will be how much? 2 lakhs. Did you understand? Did you understand? Yes or no? So can you present your answer in this manner? Sure, no? Let's check the answer now. Let's check the answer. See, we have presented like this. Bombay, Delhi. What IC has done? You know? Bombay, Delhi. 2 lakh 30. So the total deduction, they are also getting 2 lakhs. Got it, sir? Will you check this answer at home today? And will you present the answer at home today in the same manner in which I have done? Everyone. Easy, no? Next question. Question number 4. Very difficult question. Huh? Very, very, very difficult question. Then later on, don't tell me that, sir, you did not warn us. Very difficult question. Okay? Come. Mr. Anirudh has a property whose municipal valuation is, fair rent is 1,10,000 per annum. Standard rent fixed by Rent Control Act is, the property was let out for a rent of throughout the property was let out at a monthly rent of, what will be the status of the property? Anirudh has a property. What is the status of this property? LOP. LOP. At what monthly rent you are being let out? 11,000. Oh. So, are you let out for part of the year, some part vacant, or throughout the year? Throughout the year means there is no vacancy. There is. Are they telling you Anirudh becoming the owner of this property for the first time? Or Anirudh is already the owner? So can I say Anirudh's ownership will be from 1st April to ownership for how many months? Expected rent for how many months? Meaning municipal value for how many months? Fair rent, standard rent, all the figures are given per annum. Thank God. Hello. So do you have municipal value? How much? Do you have fair rent? How much? 1,30,000 or 1,10,000, whichever is 1,30,000. Do you have standard rent? How much? 1,30,000 or 1,20,000, whichever is. What is your expected rent? Expected rent is 1,20,000. Yes or no? Now, expected rent is 1,20,000. You will compare this with actual rent. Now, to calculate actual rent, you have to think for how many months I have let out the property. Throughout the year, meaning the let out period is for 12 months, monthly rent is, so 12 into 11,000, 1,32,000. Yes or no? Can I say your actual rent will be 1,32,000? So now, if this is also for 12 months, this is also for 12 months, there is no vacancy only, no? So if there is no vacancy, what you do? Directly compare. Whichever is higher will become GAV. So GAV can be, meaning your actual rent only you have taken as GAV. Done, sir? Hello. Now pay attention, pay attention. Now from this GAV, no, if some unrealized rent is there, we can reduce it from here. Deliberately, I don't touch the unrealized rent while calculating actual rent, and I told you why we do that. Okay. Now pay attention. Unrealized rent was 11,000. Unrealized rent is also there. All conditions prescribed by rule 4 are. Can you reduce 11,000? Because you have satisfied all the conditions. If I would have been your examiner, I would have told you, not like this. I would have told you the, the defaulting tenant has not vacated the premises yet, has not vacated the house property. There was a condition that defaulting tenant should vacate the property. And I will give defaulting tenant has not vacated the property. You will think, not vacated. Rule 4 wants that defaulting tenant should vacate the, only then you can take this. But what? See how your examiner, he is very sweet fellow, very sweet. Okay. If the examiner gives you question like this, very sweet. All the conditions of rule 4 are satisfied. So can you reduce the unrealized rent? So reduce the unrealized rent from your GAV. How much was that? So can you have final GAV now? That is 1 lakh. Yes or no? Now read further. He paid municipal taxes at the rate of 10%. He means who? Anirudh, who is the owner. Owner paid. Owner paid what? 10% of? Sir, municipal value was 1,30,000. 10% of that. So can I say from this GAV minus municipal tax will happen? How much? 13,000. Yes or no? And your NAV will be 1,08,000. Everyone got NAV of 1,08,000. Very good, very good. Now from this NAV, you will get 24 clause A, standard deduction. 30%, calculate. 32,000. Now, will you get any interest on housing loan deduction? Yes. See, interest on borrowed capital was 40,000 for the year. Borrowed capital. Capital borrowed for what purpose? If nothing is mentioned in the house property question, capital borrowed for house property only, no? Hello? So what is the capital borrowed? What is the capital borrowed? Not given. What is the rate of interest? Not given. They have directly calculated the interest and given it to you. How much interest? Now tell me, is this 40,000 interest related to your LOP? Is this 40,000 interest is related to your LOP? Will be allowed fully without any monetary limit. Hello, sir. So will you claim entire 40,000? Reduce it. How much? 30,000? 35,600 will become your taxable income from the house property. Yes or no? This let out property is giving you a final taxable income of 35,600. Any other property is also there. For that property also, same type of calculation you will do. Any other property is there. For that property also, same type of calculation. Now, all the taxable incomes of the properties you will calculate, no? You will have to add all of them. And then you are going to get taxable income of the house property head. This is taxable income from this house property. Getting my point? So tell me, everyone got this 35,600? Now what is this note? I'll tell you. See, what they have done, no? What they have done. Can you see actual rent? Hello? How much was actual rent? And out of actual rent only, your ICI has reduced 11,000. So your actual rent becomes, now they have compared 1,20,000 with expected rent. Yes or no? They have compared 1,21,000 with expected rent. So higher amount is GAV. We also got 1,21,000. But what we did, you know, instead of reducing it from here, how much we took? 1,32,000. Hello, sir. And this 132 and 1,20,000, whichever is higher, our GAV was 1,32,000. From this GAV only, we took 11,000. Hello. And hence our GAV also came. Getting my point? So both the things are correct or not correct? It might give you different answers sometimes. Huh? In this case, the answer is not coming different, but it might give you different answers sometimes. But don't worry about that. The calculation is correct. The treatment is correct. You are going to get full marks wherever you reduce it. But wait, tell me, in my solution, what we have done? Reduced the amount of unrealized rent from GAV. This is the same treatment given in ITRs. This is the same treatment which is given in, alternatively, it could have been reduced from actual rent also. Can I give this note? Can I give this note? Now what they have done? What they have done? They have reduced from actual rate. Now see what note they are writing. Alternatively, as per income tax returns, the unrealized rent is deducted from GAV, then GAV would be 1,32,000. We also got 1,32,000. Hello? Being higher of expected rent 1,20,000 and actual rent 1,32,000. Thereafter, unrealized rent of 11,000 and municipal taxes of 13,000 would be deducted from GAV of 1,32,000 to arrive at the NAV of 1,00,000. We also did the same thing, no? So, note says that alternatively you can do this also, and which we are doing. Why? Because practically as per ITR, this is done. Hello? You will get full marks, and this is logical also. Now, how will you present the answer? Today at home, you are supposed to solve this question. How will you present? Name of the assessee. Anirudh. Individual or a company? You will write individual. And if no residential status is given, we always assume that the assessee is ROR. So what you will write? Anirudh. Individual ROR. Hello? PAN dash. PAN, previous year 25-26, assessment year 25, sorry, assessment year 26-27. Computation of taxable income from house property. Done? Now you will make one table. Particulars, rupees. No. In the rupees column, no. What you will write? See, this is your particulars, no? Did I tell you to go home? Did I tell you to go home? Then why are you behaving such way? Do the presentation on your own. I'll not say. You know, na? You want to go home? Go. For Anirudh, how many properties are given in the question? 5 properties or only one? For that one property only we are doing this calculation. What if 2 properties were given? So for both the properties, no, we are not going to make separate formats. In one format only, 2 columns will make. First property, second property. Yes or no? What if 4 properties are given in the question? So 4 column will make, because everywhere the calculation happens same way. Yes or no? But wait, in my question only one property is there. What is that property? LOP. So heading you will write LOP. At which place? Bangalore, Chennai. Because it is not necessary that only one LOP will be given. Maybe in the question 2 LOPs are given. So this is Mumbai LOP calculation. This is Delhi LOP calculation. Hello? So in the amount column, you are not going to write down amount. You are going to write down that for which property you are calculating. Yes or no? Here in my case, Anirudh's LOP. For that LOP we are doing the calculation. So we will write LOP. But where is that LOP located is not given in the question. We will keep it blank. LOP at blank. If in some question it is given that it is LOP is at Mysore. So what you will write? LOP at Mysore. Getting my point? So this way you are supposed to do. Now the table which I made yesterday, A, B, C, D, sorry, A, municipal value. B, you will write MV or you will write municipal value. You will write FR or you will write fair rent. Don't have the habit of writing the shortcuts that we use in the class only. If you will write down these things in the exams, no, you will not get marks. Getting my point? Whichever is higher. Higher compared with higher or standard rent, whichever is lower amount is expected rent compared with actual rent or expected rent. Whichever is higher will become. In my case, I will do that because there was no vacancy. Yes or no? Minus unrealized rent. Then I will have final GAV. Yes or no? Minus municipal taxes paid during the previous year by the owner. I will get NAV. Out of that NAV, less deductions under section 24, underline, clause A, standard deduction at the rate of 30% of NAV. Clause B, interest on housing loan. You have made this format in the particulars. Now identify the amounts from the question. Keep putting these amounts in the format. Final answer you will get the same. 35,000. 35,000. Same amount you are going to get. Today you will do that same presentation. Forget about the presentation done in the ICA. Because sometimes it is difficult to understand and sometimes it is difficult to present in this way in the exam. Getting my point? So solve this question today, and one question I am giving you for homework. One question you are going to take for homework. Illustration number 5. Take one more. Take only one now. Question number 5 for homework. Okay. So we'll see tomorrow. Bye bye. Tomorrow we are going to end with the majority chunk of this chapter. Okay, no? So maybe tomorrow this chapter will die. Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye.